This week on the PRESSURECAST, Guitar Hero comes alive, Phil Harrison leaves Microsoft, Star Wars Battlefront debuts, and Unity comes to 3DS, plus impressions of GTA 5 on PC, Delver, and Mortal Kombat X. Everything happening in the world of video games is here, now, on the PRESSURECAST. Welcome to the 74th episode of the PRESSURECAST, the weekly video game news panic that posts every single Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn Radio, and the longest-running independent newspaper in North America at ExpressMilwaukee.com. And powered by VideoGamesAreDumb.com. My name is Colin Tanner, and I am your host, as always, and across from me, Steve Buff Cuff.
That was original.
I was trying to do the Buff Bagwell thing.
The Buff Bagwell, yeah, it's not bad.
Are you a gigolo?
I fancy myself a gigolo, and I guess it's appropriate too. I did cut that Ric Flair promo for the show a couple weeks ago, so.
Oh my God! By the way, that was on the show. It was at the end of the episode because I forgot to find a way to introduce it. And the best part was reading the Google Voice Translate, which involved you just like stealing limousine is what it said. And I was like, that's even better. Why couldn't you just say, I stole a limousine, you know?
That would be a lot better.
That would be great. How you doing, Steve? What's up, man?
I'm doing good. I've been traveling a lot lately. Been out of town a lot for the past 2 weeks. I was in New Orleans for a while. I was in Michigan. Got to do a conference down in New Orleans, talking about those gosh darn gamer gators down in Gator Country.
Well, we don't want to exclude anyone from the audience. We don't want to cause any trouble. So why don't you go into detail about what you did in New Orleans? Because
sure.
Why don't we start off there?
I was on an academic panel on Gamergate, and basically I just talked about sort of the history of how the movement got started, and then specifically focused on their figureheads. We did a feminist discourse analysis. So pretty much we looked at how these people like, Milo or John Bain or all these Gamergate figureheads, how their language is kind of intrinsically anti-feminist and how they're kind of just dicks.
Yeah. I mean, it's everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course, on this issue, but those guys are assholes.
Yeah, basically.
Like absolute assholes, manipulative assholes, opportunist assholes who already had these biases in them. You want to talk bias? Fucking hell. Dude, if you're biased in favor of rights of people, I don't give a shit. If you're like, my bias is I think everyone should get free ice cream. What do I care? You know what I mean?
I think it's a good bias to have.
That's a damn good bias.
Mr. Good Bar for everyone.
If your bias is no good bar for you, sir, then I say, fuck you. Give me my good bar.
And then this...
Bad bar.
Thank you for that. This Thursday at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee campus, Digital Humanities Lab, I'm going to be sitting in on a panel, and we're talking about sort of where independent games and bigger games as well are going kind of post-Gamergate. Like, where do games go from here, and how do we conceptualize what video games are, and also what the role of game journalism is.
Are you going to be playing that classic 80s soul song, Where Do We Go From Here?
Yes, the entire time. I was actually just thinking about my part of the panel, just doing a karaoke, an a cappella karaoke version of that.
It's like the girl sings and then the guy sings. But in the they were talking about breaking up, but they stick together by the end of the song.
That's what matters.
That's all that matters, really. Yeah.
So,
Speaking of music, what do you say we just get into it?
Let's get into it, baby.
Let's get into those earth-shattering stories of the week. All right. We are starting off today with the news that we all knew was coming, but the way it's been revealed, I think, is a little bit different than we were expecting. You were kind of cotton. You were caught off guard by here. Guitar Hero Live is, of course, the brand new Guitar Hero by Activision, being developed by Freestyle Games, the same people that made the excellent DJ Hero and DJ Hero 2. Mm-hmm. Where do we start here? There is a lot of differences in this compared to the series prior.
Okay, well, and we sort of saw this coming because if you announce a new rock band, then inevitably there has to be an announcement for a new Guitar Hero.
Yeah. It's
every Call of Duty needs its Battlefront and vice versa.
Every Walgreens needs its CVS.
Mm-hmm.
Although CVS really can't keep up to Walgreens. Now, Walgreens is the shit, you know? But So here's what you need to know. If you didn't watch the trailer, it involved basically a man walking in first person to a stage. It was live action. And there's like girls winking at him, and this like bearded guy putting the guitar over his head and be like, "Good luck," you know. And so he gets up on stage and you start jamming out or whatever, and it's all live action. And then it's revealed like, no, this is the game. This live action segment with this audience cheering for you is the game. It's Guitar Hero Live. You're on a live stage, and yes, that is so. Right away, it's a full motion video game, an FMV game, which we really haven't seen the likes of since maybe 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
PlayStation launch titles, that was about it, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I'd say in the late 90s there was a few hanger-ons, but yeah, they sort of fell by the wayside. Along with point-and-click adventures, they kind of went in the toilet. But as we see, like there's been a resurgence in point-and-click adventures. So we're sort of on this like 20-year nostalgia cycle, basically. So I can't say that I'm entirely surprised, except the thing is FMV games generally don't work. They're such a product of their times because in the 90s there was this idea that like you had to push for absolute realism in video games, and people thought that, well, absolute realism and being considered a legitimate art form meant like mimicking movies right down to the actual aesthetic of movies. And you can't, it's just weird. It's going to be so bizarre. I can't imagine what this game's going to be like. Unless it's just, is a Guitar Hero normal, except there's just a live crowd?
No, there's a few differences, but kind of jumping off for what you were just talking about, I don't think there was ever a successful live action full motion video game. I think all the successful ones were actually animation, because they actually had directors that knew what they were doing. Like if you have a Donald Bluth directing your animation department to create a game, it's great. Mm-hmm. When you have like somebody that maybe did an episode of Miami Vice and they're coming in to shoot 20 hours worth of video, of course it wasn't going to work. But what they've done here is quite different. It's a bit insane almost. We have a quote right here from Jamie Jackson. They're the creative director of this title. What they said is, "We filmed the crowd. We basically made a movie. We didn't do it in the old engine with avatars and things like that. We just went and filmed it. Every song is unique and is crafted with a band, an audience, and a venue." And it sounds like they had to do a bunch of kind of insane camera tricks to make sure that when you go from rockin' to not so rockin' and the crowd reacts, that it's seamless. Mm-hmm. And they've done that for every single song. We don't know how many songs there are necessarily, but not only has the graphics, not only have they changed, but the actual guitar itself is very different. It's actually a 6-button guitar this time, and it basically comes up to 3 on top and 3 on bottom. Basically, yeah, like a fret. So I guess they want you to be able to feel like you're actually playing chords this time around.
Okay.
And they don't have colors. It's black on top and white on bottom, and so it'll be like white 1, white 2, white 3, black 1, black 2, black 3. Hmm. And so that sounds pretty interesting to me as someone who's not very good at playing guitar, but definitely knows my share of I guess open chords is what they're kind of going for in this game, because it's at the very top of the neck. I'm a little intrigued, because almost every open chord involves just 3 fingers, so that would be a good representation of at least teaching people sort of what's going on there. But I mean, the question remains: do people actually want a different experience while still retaining the plastic guitar? And I'm not positive.
Yeah, it seems like a bizarre compromise between like the old school, regular Guitar Hero guitar, and then like the Rocksmith, you're actually playing guitar.
Yeah,
thing.
very
so
true.
It's kind of like a weird in between there. The whole thing it's just so strange. And same thing with the crowd too. It doesn't sound like the core game has really changed that much, but for some reason they're replacing the animated crowd with this live crowd.
Well, and they're also replacing the band with this one. You're going to be playing a part of one band, and I guess their story, and yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to play the story of some real life butt rockers. Like, wouldn't it be more fun? And again, I'm just throwing this out here.
Yeah.
What if you had a create a band thing, like
Rock Band?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, but like with the create a character from like Saints Row 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's just like super dynamic, and you can make anything you want. So you just make like weird 6-boob squid people to play as your backup band.
Well, I think that they're definitely trying to get away from the image that Guitar Hero left, which was having a lot of crazy cartoon characters. It was bizarre. It was almost like Twisted Metal in some ways. They had these signature characters that really never were involved that much in the gameplay. It's like the guy that kind of looks like Kiss, like the crazy rocker girl, just people like that. And so they've definitely tried to step away from that and make something entirely different, which might be a good thing. Kind of makes you more excited to play it in some ways, just because if it was just another Guitar Hero, I probably would have no interest. Whereas Rock Band, I'm very excited for because I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And by changing the controller, that's really important. But here we got some track listings here. You ready for this? The Black Keys, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Gary Clark Jr., Green Day, Ed Sheeran, The War on Drugs. Is it? Well, he's got two E's. That's Sheeran.
Sheeran.
The Killers, Skrillex, The Rolling Stones, The Blitz Kid, Pierce the Veils, The Luminaries. That's it. I mean, these are just 10 bands, though, or however many they are.
It's strange that you'd lead with that, though, where it's like, the Rolling Stones are pretty cool. Most of those bands are like, it's all like mall rock.
Yeah. I mean, the Black Keys are in everything. They were in Guitar Hero. They were in Rocksmith.
Black Keys aren't cool anymore. Once your mom's hairdresser knows who a rock band is, they're no longer cool.
I never liked them. I always was like, oh, God, this is the worst blues I've ever heard.
Yeah. I like their first 2 or 3 records were pretty good because they were just trying to sound like the Sonics. But then after that, I think once they went full band instead of the 2-man thing, then that's when they...
Well, maybe
that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
I mean, it kind of is in some ways because who knows exactly where these tracks are going to come from, or are they going to be promoting more recent stuff? Because they've also introduced Guitar Hero TV, which is the basically a playable network of music. Here's the description. When you go there, it's going to throw you into a TV channel with music playing, and you can play that track whenever it is in the music. If you come halfway through, you'll just join halfway through. So basically, you just turn on Guitar Hero TV, and they'll be playing like a music video of Lady Gaga's whatever, and you just press the button, and it just jumps right,
pops up, and you can
jumps right in, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it's their way around like not having to release DLC, which Guitar Hero was never very proficient at, whereas that was more Rock Band's game.
Yeah, but you won't have control over the content. It's just sort of like pre-programmed MTV style. Okay.
Yeah, which is actually in some ways more exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it just is like just as a different mode of play. That actually interests me a little bit.
Why? I hate to just bring it down, but why does it? I mean, Harmonix sees value in Rock Band because that's what they do. That is all they do is they make music games. I can't quite think of the rationale behind Activision saying, you know what, we really need to make another Guitar Hero. Like, I don't get it. And it's no knock against Guitar Hero, but they already have enough other franchises that they're making bank off of, whether that's Skylanders or Call of Duty, and I guess they're bringing back Tony Hawk. That looks like another effort of theirs.
I mean, it's a name franchise that'll make money regardless. I mean, if you can reboot a brand like Guitar Hero that was huge in like 2007, 2008, and has a lot of brand recognition, and you could do it for a modest sum of money.
Yeah.
You're going to make bank. So they're just doing it for money. That's basically it. There's no reason.
I should point out that live action segment doesn't sound any cheaper than CG. The way they go into like the details of how they had to film the crowd, it sounds completely bonkers. But I mean, also look forward to playing it on your mobile device. You will have a phone version that you can just Bluetooth your Guitar Hero controller.
Will it be like the DS version? You put in the little...
No, you carry the guitar with you. So I guess when you're on a New York subway and you just like drop your tablet and just start rocking out to something, we'll see how that goes. Oh, actually, speaking of which, at a subway, why don't you just do that? Just put it down and like have an open guitar case and get some money while you're rocking out to something on Guitar Hero TV.
Perfect.
Okay. This is stupid. Let's move over to GameStop. I just got back from the Midwest Gaming Classic, of course, last week, and I saw so many retro consoles. And now GameStop says, you know what? Enough of these conventions. We can make some money off of that and have in New York City and Birmingham, Alabama, around 250 stores.
Those are two very bizarre. I mean, New York, Birmingham, Alabama?
They got to get the rural area, which isn't very rural, actually, for Alabama. But they have announced that later this year, they will be expanding a program everywhere to accept trade-ins of retro consoles. So if you got like a Super Nintendo, maybe even a TurboGrafx, I wonder how obscure they're willing to go. Dreamcasts, which are, of course, popular. Genesis, Super Nintendo, whatever it is. They're going to be taking those consoles, and they're going to be shipping them over to Texas, where they'll be inspected for repair. and then they will be apparently sold on their online store.
Interesting.
That's the plan. I mean, this is very interesting, like you said, because the retro market is a hobbyist market. I don't know if there are, of course, those awful collectors that just buy the systems and just try and flip it for money. They have no interest in video games. But when you see somebody that has enough of a collection, they usually have an affinity for classic video games. And, you know, it's a pretty healthy market. I'm sure you've seen the Game Chasers, or if you see Flea Market Madness from Pat the NES Punk. There's a whole video series about buying retro games. I mean, GameStop is the largest seller of video games. This could potentially kill the market. You know? Like, just being honest. If mommy and daddy, you know, are like, well, you're off in college now, so we're going to go. Well, I guess they would say, you've been off in college for 10 years. They're going to sell your Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
But what I mean to say is that, you know, if GameStop advertises this well and communicates to the average person that if you just see that random game, don't take your stadium events to a flea market. Take it here. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Well, first of all, I understand why GameStop is doing this, because GameStop needs to do this. We're very close to reaching a console generation where there will be no physical media, so they need to start transitioning to a business model that allows them to continue to sell games, and retro games are the way to go. There's also a lot more money in it, and GameStop already knows this from their used game sales of, you know, recent console games.
Sure.
If you talk to independent game store owners or whatever, if they sell a brand new copy of a video game, they make nothing. They make $1, like $1.
They'll make around.
No, they literally make like $1.
Oh, really?
So they don't make anything off of that. But what they do make money off of is used games. So, you know, that's where the real money is. They'll buy something for $5 and then they'll sell it for $30, and that's where the cash is. So they need to do this. They need to expand their used game market. Is it going to kill mom and pop retro stores?
I'm just a little worried, you know, just because it has to. If GameStop goes whole hog on this, it has to have an impact. If it doesn't kill the I'm not going to say it's going to kill the entirety of it, but do I expect that over a long period of time some stores will shut down? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it has to affect somebody.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's going to service the same market that eBay does, which is the lazy person who wants a game but doesn't want to, like, you know, dig around for it, basically.
I got a copy of Ice Climbers, $100, buy it now.
Yeah, so I think long term, I don't think it's going to harm mom and pop stores that much, but it is a little disconcerting.
But who are we kidding? The retro game stores are pop. They haven't really met mom yet. They're still working. They've been going on eHarmony, and, you know, they've sent a few messages.
I mean, if you're the kind of person who brings your Sega Genesis collection to GameStop to sell it, I don't think you're the kind of person who's going to a mom and pop game store to begin with.
Well, I mean, if they Google it, that's all it matters. Like, where can I sell my NES? And the first result is now going to say, hey, GameStop does that. And it makes you more curious to see what we're going to see happen with the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii, if those will ever go away. Because at this point, if they're willing to buy 10-year-old consoles, why not just keep those old systems around? And, you know, I'm more worried about them being able to control the market in a very large way, where they might set the standard for how much something is worth. That's what really worries me, where, an old NES, that's about $79, and if it's $79 everywhere, and someone says, well, hell, they're buying them at GameStop, I'll say $79. If you are a seller of retro consoles, you can't really go much lower than that.
But I mean, the eBay price already dictates that. So GameStop would be competing against, like, the eBay prices for things.
Possibly.
I mean, that's their direct competition.
They're big enough where they could get away with it, where they could say, no, we own this, and we are going to say that this is worth this amount. And eBay, because you know how eBay is, you could definitely find older consoles on there and compare them to GameStop prices, and they're not always identical. Like, you want to buy a backwards compatible PlayStation 3 on eBay, holy Jesus, you go to GameStop, they're like $134, you know. We will have to wait and see what happens with, you know, past systems. I mean,
Interesting.
They are old from long, long ago, but not a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, Jesus, transition of the year.
Wow. Why are you guys lowering the flag? What's going on? No. Star Wars Battlefront officially was revealed at the the Star Wars Day, whatever they call it. Star Wars Day, dumb day. Dumb day with George Lucas not being invited.
Nerd day. Ha!
What do you think George Lucas is doing right now? Like right this moment.
Actually, I know what he's doing right now.
What is he doing?
He's doing something not shitty.
What?
He's taking his ranch and he's building affordable housing for working class families in Southern California.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
What's his angle? See, now I'm sorry.
What's his angle?
He is the Lex Luthor of movie making. So right now I'm automatically assuming like it's going to be revealed at some point he built a secret bunker underneath the houses and he's working on an android that's going to go and, fight Superman or whatever he does.
What I think he's going to do is he's going to build these really, really nice, affordable houses for families, and everyone's going to love him. And then over the course of the next 20 to 30 years, he's going to keep editing them and changing the houses until everybody hates where they live.
Do you think there's actually anything in the house, or is it just green screens? Like, just stand in front of here, look at your kitchen table. It's beautiful. Here's what we know about Star Wars Battlefront, which, of course, is the third entry in the Battlefront series. It's kind of like Battlefield, for lack of a better term, and it's Star Wars. We know officially there is absolutely no campaign mode.
Ooh.
Whatsoever.
That sucks.
I mean, they put those campaigns in the Battlefield series, and it's kind of like, whoo, that sucks. Yeah. when you play those damn things. There's going to be free episode DLC for episode 7, the upcoming film. There will be a deluxe edition for $70 on all platforms, which of course will include unique items such as the ion shock, the ion torpedo, the ion grenade.
One of George Lucas's pubes.
Yeah. I wonder how often he cleans that beard, because I bet he touches it all the time.
Ew.
He touches it all the time. We know that you'll actually be able to pick gender, which means you can play as a female stormtrooper. That's kind of insane. All right.
Not that you'd know, I guess.
Well, here's my issue with that. I could raise an issue with they shouldn't have female stormtroopers. Now, as much as I prefer to believe that a stormtrooper is just a guy in a suit, according to the prequels, they are actually clones of whatever that guy is with the jetpack.
Boba Fett?
His dad.
Boba Fett's dad?
Yeah,
Jango Fett?
Jango Fett, thank you. So if they're all clones and they were all designed to be him, I mean, why is there like a girl him? That's not possible.
I don't know.
Maybe they eventually got bored and like make the girl version. That's cool. We do have some playable vehicles that have been announced. You're gonna have the AT-AT, which we actually saw a preview of that on what is that? Hoth? On Hoth? Is that the forest?
Snow planet.
No, it wasn't the snow. It was actually the forest.
The forest is Endor.
Endor. They actually had an AT-AT like going through a forest. It was kind of cool. It looks gorgeous. The video is it's stunning.
And it's actual game footage. It's not pre-rendered.
It's his official in-game engine, which is a little bit murkier because it's like, well, sure, in 8 years you'll totally be able to get to look like this.
Full shots.
Yeah, I mean, in-game engine is not the same as this is in-game. I mean, there's no chance in hell any commercial anywhere is ever going to show the PlayStation 4, Xbox One version. They're going to show you the PC version. Mm-hmm. Much like GTA 5, 2 years ago, decided to show 60 frames per second footage for their commercials. You rat-fink fucks. I mean, honestly, I don't know about you. Were you ever attached to the Battlefront series?
Yeah, I had, I think it was the first one, or maybe it was the second one, but I think it was the first one for PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I played the shit out of it. I absolutely loved it. It's just sort of, it's basically like Dynasty Warriors, but Star Wars. Like, that's all it was. And
that is a probably more adapt comparison than even Battlefront. I mean, or Battlefield. That was always my kind of issue, though, is that, like, it was in third person or first person. The first person felt janky as fuck, and the third person, like, the way that the characters accelerated with their turning never felt right on consoles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was just cool because, I don't know, it was the same reason I liked Shadows of the Empire on Nintendo 64, because of, like, the Hoth level where you got to play the Battle of Hoth. Like, that was fun.
Okay.
So, I mean, basically just taking moments that I love from the original trilogy and then allowing me to play through them.
I think I realized the divide between us. I generally just don't give a fuck about Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
That is, and it's nothing against it. Like, I'll watch the movies and be like, that was fun, but other people watch and go, this is it. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm like, nope, no. Like, this is like, it's the difference between, like, just, eating a sandwich and being like, that was good, and being like, I need to start a sandwich shop. That's Phil Harrison, of course, was the former Xbox One somebody. I don't know. He's the executive of Xbox One in the UK.
The executive Phil.
The executive Phil. He used to be at Sony for a long, long time, and then he joined Microsoft in 2012. He's officially exited after a large amount of rumors about what his future plans were. Phil Spencer actually spoke out and said, Phil has been a distinguished leader for our European Xbox team, overseeing production of our award-winning European studios and making a substantial contribution to the Xbox business globally. I want to thank him for his creativity and leadership over the past 3 years. No word on where Harrison is going to go next, which is kind of interesting. I mean, if this would have happened 18 months ago, the story would be very different. It'd be like, oh God, Microsoft's on fire. Yeah. Phil Harrison's leaving. I bet he's going to go back to Sony.
Tanking. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it is kind of interesting to see him leave while the team is really rebounded and is really regaining a foothold in the market. Nowhere near the PlayStation 4, but very respectable. Much more passionate fan base now than there was when the system launched. If you had to give this bald man a job outside of video games, where would you put him? I would like to see him work at a Froyo.
A Froyo place, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Hat store.
Hat store, yeah. What about wig shop?
Wig shop for sure.
That's good.
For sure.
Ooh, barber shop. Because people be like, hey, I'm here to get a haircut. And what?
I'm sure he's probably gonna end up as the head of something at some tech startup or something where he's gonna make a shit ton of money.
Oh, sure. He's actually a really cool guy if the interviews are anything to be believed. I mean, outside of those interviews, he could be like stomping on puppies' skulls and shit like that, but I don't believe it. He's a good guy from what you read. And it's just, it was always a big shock when he went over to Microsoft because he had been so associated with the Sony brand for so long. But, everything's changing now. So who knows who's going to be stepping up. They had a name a couple of weeks ago who was probably going to be taking his place. Let's go to the last earth-shattering story of the week. We really got to talk about this. Unity is now officially supported on new Nintendo 3DS and new Nintendo 3DS XL. So your 3DS that you bought a year ago, that out-of-dated piece of crap, it can't run Unity. So
I'm getting by just fine.
Why can't it run Unity? I mean, for the love of God, Unity can be run on anything, right?
Are you one of those DSi elitists who mock me for owning a regular DS?
No, I'm just confused that why can't Unity work on the regular DS? Or, I mean, a regular DS even, I would say.
I mean, it could, but it'd probably be a pain to optimize it.
Well, sure. But, I mean, if you just make a white background with, like, a square that jumps up and down and, whatever. I mean, this is a huge deal because when I was over at the Midwest Gaming Classic, did I mention I was at the Midwest Gaming Classic?
The Midwest Gaming Classic.
I was at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and I got a chance to interview so many of those good independent developers. Literally, this is every single interview. And you can watch it when I start posting them up on YouTube. You'll see them on Express Milwaukee on Tuesday. Just like, hey, so what is this running on? Unity. Oh, okay. So, something just fall? Swear to God, something just fell down. I don't know what that was.
I don't know, the ceiling's collapsing?
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to leave this in because why not? I want people to know the truth behind the story. Where something fell from the ceiling.
Crushes my skull.
No, here's literally the interview. It was just like, hey, you got you could actually use Source Engine. That's free now. Or, whatever else. Unreal, that's free. Do you have any interest in developing for them? Oh, no.
There's a reason for that.
Not at all. No, thank you. We like Unity. We will stick with Unity for... And, I mean, they're always like, oh, I wouldn't mind messing around with it. But all my future projects, Unity. Always Unity. And so I think this is a huge deal for the 3DS, because that means that maybe we'll have more cross-play games that can be out on the new Nintendo 3DS and also on the Wii U, hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of indie games run Unity, and a lot of the Wii U indie games specifically are built in Unity. The reason why people use Unity is because it's got a very simple barrier to entry. From what I've read, I've never used it myself. Out of all the 3D engines, it's the easiest to kind of jump into. And the main thing... When will your game be released, Steve? When can we expect... I don't even know. My trip to New Orleans. Dong Quest 2012.
Dong.
I don't know why it's Dong Quest 2012. Because you have to stop the Mayan calendar from destroying the Earth with your penis.
I mean, Unity apparently, like you said, has a very low barrier to entry. What else makes this so special?
The other thing that makes it special, and this is the biggest thing, is it's easy to obtain free Unity assets or incredibly inexpensive Unity assets. So, yeah, like the Unreal Engine is free, the Source Engine is free, but actually getting assets that you don't have to build yourself, that is a totally different thing. So with Unity, if you don't have a guy that can do 3D modeling, but you can do basic programming, well, you don't need that 3D modeling guy. You can just buy assets. Now, the problem with this is there have been some amazing things done in Unity.
But
in
unison.
Yeah.
That's
Hop on Steam Greenlight for a second. Look at Steam Early Access and the number of games that are just like identical. Survive the zombie hordes while crafting and building things out of trees that you punch with your fists.
Yes. Or just the number of first-person shooters.
Yeah,
you know.
It sucks because they recycle the same assets over and over again, and there's so much bullshit on Steam that's built out of Unity. And that's not saying that it's Unity's fault necessarily. It's just having access to Unity itself isn't. That's not the be all end all. You have to do something with it.
Well, and like you said, or maybe you didn't even say this, but it is limited to your creativity. I think having free assets is a wonderful thing for those people because it allows them to test out concepts. But at some point during the production of the game, you actually have to replace those free assets with something you've created.
Yeah, or do something interesting with the free assets that you have, which people don't. They just drop them in, and it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, Unity is incredible. It is the best thing to happen to video games in a long time. Like I spent so much of the past week going onto various sites from the developers that I met and checking out the web player in Unity, the Unity web player. Mm-hmm. My God, it's so incredible. It makes me so happy and optimistic.
Yeah. And it's great that there's so many cool tools out there for new
tools.
Cool tools.
Oh my God!
Welcome to Cool Tools with Steve.
Yeah,
let me tell you about some cool video game tools.
Is that like the Tim the Toolman Taylor's new show, Tool Time? Was that what his show was called?
Yeah, Tool Time, with the show within the show, the meta show.
More like Coke Time. Go to jail in Florida time.
But yeah, I mean, between if you can't figure out Source, if you can't figure out Unreal, you got stuff like Unity. There's stuff like RPG Maker, which is great. Game Maker is fantastic. There's so much cool shit that you can.
Game Maker does have a little bit more of a strong vibe from the developers I talked to. Were like, oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
but
it's more for like 2D stuff though.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of 2D games, but nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to do it for the Earth-Shattering Stories. We're going to get onto the pressure points in a bit. We'll start off.
The Earth is officially shattered.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably talk about the Borderlands creator leaving Gearbox. We'll do that when I'll shift the stories around. That's cool.
For sure.
Because, it's not that earth-shattering story. Because you know what? I get a feeling Borderlands 3 will come out anyway. Mm-hmm. Got an inside scoop.
Anthony Birch is gone, too, so...
Yeah.
Hemorrhaging talent.
I feel bad for that guy because I really don't like what he did with Borderlands, but I like him outside of Borderlands. I think he's just hilarious.
Yeah,
on
really
Hey Ash, what you playing? But inside Borderlands, it's kind of like this is really forced. Like I don't know if the voice talent didn't get it, or if he just wrote it poorly, or what happened.
The whole game is memes. Borderlands 2 is memes. The game.
Yeah, it was painful, and it just gets progressively more dated as it goes on. It's just horrible. But let's go over to the games of the week. Oh my God. I played Mortal Kombat X. I played Grand Theft Auto 5, and you played something. Why don't we take yours and make a delicious sandwich out of it? Put it as the meat.
The meat?
What do you want to hear about? GTA 5, Mortal Kombat X. What do you want?
Why don't we talk about GTA 5 real quick, because we've been making fun of it for months, so now that it's out, I kind of want to hear about it.
Yeah, so Grand Theft Auto 5 launched on Tuesday for the PC. It was available on Steam as well as a non-Steam version, and that's about it. It uses the Rockstar Social Club, which is a program that they've had for at least, 4 or 5 years at this point.
DRM bullshit?
Yeah, it's sort of, but it's actually a pretty good service in terms of creating characters. So like with Social Club, you're able to create somebody in Max Payne 3 and play that multiplayer, and it could have been on the PC, Xbox One, or whatever you want, Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, and then import that character from that multiplayer into Grand Theft Auto 5 on any system. So if you play it on PlayStation 3 and you want to import it to PC, cool. You play it on the PC, you want to import it to your Xbox 360, cool. So, I had a character that I played as on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and now I've imported him to my PC version, all thanks to Social Club, which is very nice. The thing about it was, oh, Jesus, I don't know if I want to get into this. I probably should, we should talk about this. So it launched on Tuesday, and there I was, with my beanie and my peanut butter and jelly sandwich going, oh, gee willikers, I can't wait to play the new Rockstar game. This is going to be incredible. And
you're actually a Jewish grandmother.
Yeah, Jewish grandmother and a child from the 1950s, all wrapped up in one. And so the game launches. It finally finishes downloading. I hit, click to play, and I see the little, sand dropping in the hourglass, and then it stops. Nothing happens. I go, okay, what's going on here? But it didn't take that long to figure out what was going on, because 3 days later, I finally got a patch to actually start playing the game. That's right. For 3 whole days, my operating system, my card, my CPU were not compatible with playing Grand Theft Auto 5. And people, here's what I love. You know what? I want to get into this a little bit. Here's what I love about you, PC Master Race. Here's what I love about you, PC community. You guys are so great to shit all over anything and everyone to defend something that is fucking meaningless. I love this. I absolutely love this. So if you own an Xbox 360, fuck you. You're a piece of trash. Well, ain't that kind of you. But even better when Rockstar just ham-fists this port and it doesn't run whatsoever for a large portion of people, and they just go, buy a real PC. Buy a real PC. You gotta say, hey, noob, buy a real PC. Fuck you, and fuck your little club. By the way, that club probably doesn't exist. It's all upstairs.
It's a mental club.
Yeah. And this guy's saying, buy a real PC. You know who he was talking to? He was talking to somebody that couldn't get Grand Theft Auto 5 to run on his Titan X. Yes. Or another person on their GTX 970. Yes. Buy a real PC, guys. I saw a bunch of AMD Radeons. All these people could run the fucking game. And this is what it came down to, is we can't admit for a second that a game is not running properly on PC. So let's shit all over it. And I was cool with it. I knew what was going on. I went, fuck it. There's going to be a patch. But for the people that are like, hey, what's going on here? I just spent $60 and this took like literally 65 gigabytes of my hard drive.
Holy shit.
65 gigabytes. I had to wait for a bunch of hours. What's going on? You've been hyping this up, PC Master Race, and it doesn't fucking work. Your first instance would be like, bro, that sucks. Like, there's got to be a patch coming. Be patient. Don't tell it. Instead of shitting all over somebody, goddamn.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't buy games at launch ever. And there's a similar problem with console games too. Although console games usually work, but they only work to varying degrees. When was the last time you popped in a brand new console game into your PlayStation or your Xbox and there wasn't a day one patch?
It's true, but I do want to point out that when Grand Theft Auto Online launched on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2013, there actually was more than a few days where it was unplayable. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to pick favorites here, but it just doesn't help anybody just to shit all over. And then people, of course, started, and this is on the Steam's official forums. Great job, moderators. I saw no less than 5 links to actually get the GTA 5 to work. It was awesome. You just had to download this patch that, of course, was just a fucking virus. And apparently over 80 or 200 people downloaded it before they took it down. And Jesus Christ, Steam. Come on.
Oh.
So anyway, that has nothing to do with the game.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say, fuck Master Race. You're a little piece of hardware. Who gives a fucking shit? It's about a fucking video game that's been out on the Xbox 360 2 years. But it's finally out on PC so I can have more shaders. Who gives a fuck?
Tell us how you really feel, though, Colin.
That being said, the PC version is the best version. It's not just graphics. It is the best version. Load times are drastically improved. Obviously, the graphics, like I said, are fantastic. You have a huge amount of adjustments. Quality of shadows is a really amazing feature that you take for granted. But watching the way that a mountain during a sunset just has this huge shadow that slowly creeps along the city, it's stunning. More importantly, though, GTA Online is just so much more fun. There seem to be so many people playing at any given time, so you can go into death matches, you can do contact missions. Most people don't have headsets. That's actually a plus in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
Except I had this one guy yesterday who it literally sounded like a ham radio from 1960s. Like it might have been like a Twilight Zone episode where someone's flying through an interdimensional portal, just because all I heard was like, like, no exaggeration, couldn't understand a single fucking word. Like, I thought he had like a pillow wrapped around his face and someone was like putting a pistol to his head because I couldn't understand anything. But yeah, of course, it's Grand Theft Auto. What do you want to know? Driving, shooting, yeah, it's all there.
It just looks better. There's no additional features or anything. I mean, it's probably got the first-person mode from the PS4 version.
Sure, there's a video editor that's mildly amusing. I couldn't really get into that. But here's what I'll say, and this is really important. Very, very important. Do not play this game if you don't have a controller. I'm sorry. Don't.
You don't want to play with the mouse and the keyboard?
Oh my God. Let me tell you. Everybody's going, mouse and keyboard are the way to go for any game. All right. Let's see you drive a fucking car. Because, you got to remember, you got degrees of movement with your controller. Keep that in mind. So, the first thing I did when I launched Grand Theft Auto Online is I plugged in an Xbox One controller because I played the other ones on the PlayStation systems. I wanted to see what an Xbox controller would feel like playing Grand Theft Auto. And I immediately went over to Race, to which I won in first place all 6 or 7 races while all the cars were slamming into each other because their degree of movement is 100% left or 100% right, or 100% brake or 100% forward. There's no degree of movement for them. So while I'm just taking my time, bumping corners, smartly maneuvering myself, they're smashing into each other like a bunch of children, and I'm lapping them. And I'm laughing the whole time, like, you gotta be shitting me. Over half of them did not finish this race. I'm telling you, kids, buy a controller if you're gonna play Grand Theft Auto on the PC.
You can use a 360 controller, you can use an Xbox One controller, PS4 controller, is that a thing?
Anything.
Right.
Here's what I recommend. You're gonna be shooting somebody, you're on foot, play that mouse and keyboard. It's fantastic. It works beautifully. As soon as you get in the car, pick up the controller. It's kind of cool in a way. It feels like you're really entering a car. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why PC version is my favorite so far. But all I want to say is fuck mouse and keyboard for driving, and fuck you pieces of shit that are shitting all over people that are just trying to play a goddamn game. That's insane.
I like the idea. I know you said you weren't really interested in it, but I like the idea of a video editor too because...
Oh, I'm interested. I just didn't have, it was at this point where it had been so long that I was like, we're doing the show in 2 days. I should probably play a little bit of this.
Well, just because the world of GTA 5 is so big and there's so much going on, especially in the online community, that it seems like you could make some really cool machinima out of whatever you're doing there. So that's cool.
I mean, you got to pick this up. Like you have to. We have to play online, and I will actually set up my microphone and all that because it's just so much fun, especially with the mouse and keyboard. You can import your characters, like I said, which is great. So my entire team died while I was playing Grand Theft Auto Online, and I was in a mission that clearly required 3 or more people. So I had to blow up these cars, right? But I couldn't enter the base because holy shit, there's too many people shooting at me. But because I'm so high up, I was just like, well, I got 25 grenades. So just randomly throwing grenades, and you're just seeing this neighborhood implode, and eventually it's just like, you got the cars. Like, yay! It's excellent. Of course, Grand Theft Auto 5 single player is still, dull as dishwater. Couldn't possibly recommend that. Mm-hmm. Pacing's all over the place. Characters are bizarre. You introduce the game with a black character only to do absolutely fucking nothing with them. And for a game that seems to have a lot of political statements about the state of dog grooming, and it doesn't seem to want to talk about race at all, even though it wants to throw the N-word around every 2 seconds. That story is absolute atrocious. Good characters couldn't put it together. So yeah, I mean, I still recommend it. It's play it for Grand Theft Auto Online to have a lot more fun. It just gets you into the action. What do you want to do? You want to sit around some goddamn story about somebody talking to their shrink for like 45 minutes so that you can do a mission where you drive a car so that you can start another mission where you drive the car back? Or do you want to press a button and be parachuting out of an airplane while shooting each other? Take your pick. The first one, Grand Theft Auto single player. The last one, online. Highly recommend it.
Cool.
So what game did you play, Steve?
I played kind of an older game. It's called Delver.
Okay.
And it's been around in various forms and different betas and stuff since, I want to say, like 2012, maybe 2011.
What?
Yeah, so it's a little bit older, but I think it's finally to the point where they're actually like releasing it as a game. It's a procedurally generated dungeon crawler from a first-person perspective.
Do you play anything that is not procedurally generated and
here's
first-person?
the thing, when I was in the shower, I was like, what did I play this week that I want to talk about on the show? And I was like, I'm going to talk about Delver, and then Colin's going to make a joke about how I only play
Were you playing Heavy Bullets
games.
And
I don't know. I've been really on like the procedurally generated game thing because I think there's a real art form to beautifully crafted level design, but I also like the idea of, instead of crafting levels, like crafting an algorithm that makes cool and compelling levels automatically.
Oh, yeah.
There's something interesting about that, and I like to see how different games handle it. So, Delver's art style, it's very Minecraft-esque almost. So think like Minecraft meets
Are you not
Doom.
I was talking to this guy 20 minutes ago who was shitting all over those Unity games that are kind of like Minecraft.
I don't even know if it's made in Unity, but it's not. See, and here's a great example too of games that maybe it's made in Unity, but games that take an existing aesthetic and do something interesting with it. And Delver it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay.
And it's got a great sense of exploration, a great sense of progression. The things that it doesn't do well, one, every single like roguelike procedurally generated fantasy game trope that you can possibly think of, it does. So, you picked up a potion and you don't know what it does, and you have to either throw it at an enemy or drink it to figure it out. Like, just all that kind of shit.
Let's actually get an instance of that. So you picked up a potion, didn't know what it did. What'd you do?
I usually just drink them right away because I'm a madman. Well, it was great because I only picked up 2 potions, and one was a health potion, one was a restoration potion. So I did great.
Wow. So, I mean, is there combat in here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's tons of combat, and that's where the game kind of falters for me. The range combat is fine once you find a ranged weapon, but most of the time you start with like a sword or a stick or whatever the fuck they give you. It's very difficult because the enemies they're Doom-like enemies where they're 2D sprites in a 3D space.
Ooh, I kind of like that in a weird way.
Yeah, like a Doom / Wolfenstein type of thing.
Achtung Leben.
Yeah, and the problem with that is because you have melee weapons, it's sort of the same problem that you would run into with like a Hexen or a Heretic.
Dude, I was literally trying to figure out what the name of Hexen was the entire time.
Where it's difficult to tell where enemies can hit you from and when you're hitting the enemy. Because it's got these RPG roguelike elements to it, even if you're hitting the guy with the sword, unlike Hexen or Heretic, where every time I punch and I'm next to the guy, I'm actually physically punching him.
Right.
There's sort of like a roll of the dice type thing. So I could hit you and it looks like I'm hitting you,
right, but
I'm not actually doing damage. So that's kind of a pain. And then, like, I got killed by this zombie character because he was 3 feet away from me and I was hacking him and he was just going, rah, rah, like opening his mouth, like biting me.
Yeah.
And then I was getting damaged, but it was this weird disconnect because I'm like, you're not on top of my shit biting me. You're like 3 feet away and I'm whacking you with a sword.
So his bite had a buffer or a dice roll that allowed him to bite from a long distance, but I really didn't communicate.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to tell, like, when I'm in range to hit someone and when someone's in range to hit me. So the melee combat is ass, which is kind of a big turnoff. So I don't know, if you're into procedurally generated dungeon crawling games, you might want to check it out. I think it's very inexpensive on Steam. It gets packaged into a lot of bundles.
Just out of curiosity, how big were the environments? Are they pretty big?
Pretty big, yeah. There's different floors.
Okay.
Which again is a very roguelike thing to do.
Totally.
But yeah, each individual floor felt big enough where there was a lot to explore, but not like overly daunting or anything. Like it was a good compromise between just crazy, insane, way too big, and it's too easy to just run through. So,
did you ever play Tower of Guns? Have you gotten into that yet?
No, I want to though, because that's like another FPS roguelike game.
It might be up your alley, man. I'm not sure. If you like Serious Sam and all that, you probably would. You seem to be kind of on a procedurally generated first person kick.
Hey, what can I say?
Well, it isn't. I feel like it is a genre that it both has too many titles and yet is rather unexplored in a lot of ways because it's when it's done well, it's some of the most fascinating new titles that are available. But more often than not, it's barely even scratches the surface of its potential. You know,
it's also a very PC centric thing. I mean, you're starting to see a little bit more trickle down into like the PS4 Vita indie.
Trickle down and politically correct do not go well together.
But yeah, like it's not necessarily a genre that appeals to everyone, and it's weird too because it seems like it'd be great for mobile spaces, like like the type of thing where you just do a little bit like on the bus or something. But there's nothing for Nintendo 3DS unless you want to play. Well, Binding of Isaac is going to be coming out soon,
right?
And then
that's on Vita right now as well.
Like Etrian Mystery Dungeon is out now.
That's why you should be getting a Vita though, because you've got like your Rogue Legacies, your Binding of Isaacs. Like there are actually a lot
of games
of
that I play on PC. Yeah,
that you can play on PC.
I'm saving up my Amazon points one of these days. I just want to play Spelunky on the bus, man. That's all.
Oh man, Spelunky is on there. There's a lot of really great titles. Yeah. So I mean, Delver. I mean, obviously it's not very expensive, and you can.
It's cheap if that's your type of thing. If you want a fantasy first-person roguelike procedurally generated, check it out. If it's not your thing, fuck it. It's not worth it.
It's not gonna make. It's not gonna convert anybody, huh?
No, it's not. It's not like a Spelunky or Binding of Isaac level converter.
Rogue Legacy is my game, man.
Rogue Legacy is good. Well, I like Rogue Legacy a lot. I dropped like 80 hours into it, so
yeah,
I'm certainly a convert.
It's that is the best roguelike I've ever played right now. Spelunky I know is everyone else's favorite, but Rogue Legacy my God, incredible, incredible. Yeah, you should check out Tower Guns. You'll probably like it.
I will, just for you.
Okay,
Colin.
if I see any codes laying around, I'll send them your way.
Okay.
Because codes are just starting to pop up for some reason, which is interesting.
Well, shit, yeah, send them my way.
Okay, awesome. What we have next is the 10th Mortal Kombat X, which was launched on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The big controversy with this game is its microtransactions, because you can purchase 25 easy fatalities as well as purchase characters. Here's my thing. I really want to bring this up just to start off. I was watching and reading a number of reviews on the game, and they all brought up the microtransactions as a knock against the game. I review games, and I just want to bring this up. What the fuck are you talking about? Why would you talk about microtransactions when it's like, this is gross? Why can you get 25 easy fatalities? I just want to bring this up. Fatalities are a very strange concept in 2015. They're something that has absolutely nothing to do with the gameplay. The gameplay is over. Someone else has already decidedly won. You just get to decide if you want to do a murderous attack. I've read all these reviews that were complaining about how you can get 25 easy fatalities. It's like, bro, that reads like this is an impression of your review and that you're judging it based off of this, which is, if it is an optional piece, it's almost like reviewing a game and talking about the collector's edition's, RC car that comes with it. It was very, very strange.
Well, okay, here's the counterpoint to that. So there's two things that could make it problematic. One, I know that the easy fatalities are an unlockable thing within the game. Like you can play through the game to unlock these things. Sure. So what it does is it opens up the door for paying for gated content within a game.
Sure.
Which is questionably shitty. The other problem there is you're kind of opening the door in future installments or for future DLC for other things that could potentially impact play. So what if there was like easy combos, easy special moves, things that? Pay $3.99 and you can take any combo or any special move and assign it to any button, things like that. And I can see where that sort of disrupts gameplay.
Sure.
So I don't think necessarily paying for fatalities or whatever, just isolated in a vacuum, is bad on its own. But in the broader picture of things, if when the next Tekken comes out, am I going to be able to pay for combos and things like that? And that's where it becomes problematic.
I can totally understand that. I'll be real with you. I couldn't give less of a shit, personally, because that's just. I figured that no matter what, there's always going to be, if you're fighting online or whatever, there would be a filter. Be like, I don't want to be anybody that has the easy combos or whatever it is. But I don't give enough of a shit about that. But I was just really perplexed when I saw this in reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know why so many reviews decided to remark on this, where it didn't seem pertinent to the situation when you could actually just learn the fatality. It's for me, it was very bewildering. Whereas I found that to be something that if you want to talk about that, like an editorial is an excellent place to do that. Like, take them down, be like, fuck this, I don't want to see. But it's in the criticism of an actual just game itself. It felt like it was being like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, this turkey is delicious, but this tray, I don't really like the tray it came on. It's like, well, you don't need to look at the tray. You don't need to buy a tray. This analogy isn't working much anymore. Don't get me wrong. Honestly, the game itself, Mortal Kombat X, it's not as good as the last game, Mortal Kombat from 2011, which is the best Mortal Kombat game ever. Mm-hmm. This upcoming one is not the best Mortal Kombat game ever. It is actually a little overly complicated, I would say.
Oh.
Every character that you play as can actually have up to 3 different stances, which allows them to have different variety of special moves, which isn't inherently a bad thing if you played something like Street Fighter Alpha 3 or more complex fighting games.
A throwback to the last time they rebooted Mortal Kombat. Or not the last time, but the time before that.
Deception and Deadly Alliance.
I think it was Deception. Was it the one that came out right after Mortal Kombat 4? Because everyone was angry at Mortal Kombat 4. And then the one that came out on Xbox right after that.
Mortal Kombat 4, believe it or not, came out in 1999, and then Deadly Alliance, I don't believe, was released until about 2002.
Yeah, that'd be the one. The one where Liu Kang dies in the intro movie, and you have to play as like zombie Liu Kang.
Oh, that pissed me off so bad.
Yeah.
But no, unlike that game, it's not you're not switching stances on the fly. You have to pick that character from the get-go. And there's different varieties. Like if you're playing as Sub-Zero, maybe you'll have more quick combos. But if you want to do more projectiles, you'll have a different stance for that. So some of the stances are definitely more useful than others. It feels like they kind of ran out of ideas for some of these, so some of them just kind of suck. Mm-hmm. Whereas others are exceedingly good. Aaron Black, who's a brand new Outworlder. He's from Earthrealm, but now he's an Outworlder. He's basically, imagine, like, I don't know, Sub-Zero, like a ninja. I forget what they call those ninjas, but with guns, like
Oh.
old Western pistols, and he's fucking great. He's like, after he beats you up, you'll be like, if you pay me, I'll stop. And it's like, fuck yeah, this guy's so cool. That's the thing that surprised me so much about this game. It actually takes place 25 years after the last game. It basically skips over Mortal Kombat 4. They just don't want to talk about Shinnok, thank God. That guy's lame and boring. But it decides that it wants to talk about what happens 25 years afterwards. You have to deal with people like Kung Lao's cousin. You have to deal with Johnny Cage's daughter. All these different characters. Like, it's Mortal Kombat Kids, except it's spelled with a Z. We're getting into trouble. But in actuality, all of these characters are really good. That's what's shocking. They're actually more aggressive, more sarcastic, which already sounds like, fuck no, this is going to be awful. But they have the right amount of attitude, or catitude, if you will. Like, Kung Lao's cousin is just cocky as hell. And he just, like, doesn't give a fuck. He's like, whatever, I'll beat your ass. But he's like, he looks like he's going to get killed.
Does it have the fat drunken master who has the throw-up special moves?
No, thank God.
Oh, he's the best. He's my favorite character.
You know, they actually did have one really, this is a slight spoiler, like the most minute spoiler, but Kung Lao's cousin, they had a really kind of cool moment, and I think they've confirmed it online. I'm not sure, but he actually tries to steal this statue, and Raiden tries to stop him, and Ryan's like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, why don't you come and join our school and we'll train you and you can actually become a great fighter like your cousin was. And he's like, no, they're not going to be okay with me. And Ryan's like, no, all they care about is your character. They don't care who you love. And it's like, oh,
Is he gay?
He's a gay character.
Oh.
And that's the only way they reference it. And it was kind of like, that's pretty cool. Because they definitely build up the character and then they kind of like drop that hint in there as to maybe why he's not. Is it ham-fisted? Maybe. But I was kind of like, yay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And Cassie Cage, who is Johnny Cage's daughter, just badass. Like, her X-ray move literally just involves taking out two guns and blowing people's eyes out. Which we should talk about the X-ray moves. I'm a little desensitized to the violence at this point.
Yeah.
None of them are that interesting or that cool. Johnny Cage, basically, all of his attacks are focused on the jaw until the jaw literally just snaps free of the skull. Which, I'm sorry, I watch a lot of violence. I'm kind of over it.
Well, the X-ray moves in the last game, too, they're the sort of things where the first couple times you see them, you're like, oh, wow, that's really violent and intense. And then after that, it's just like, oh, I don't care. I can only see the X-ray thing where someone's leg snaps so many times. It's the same with that sniper game where they do the same thing.
Oh, Sniper Elite.
Yeah, Sniper Elite. It's just like, oh, that's cool for the first like 3 times I see it.
For me, the X-ray attacks of the last game are probably the most brilliantly designed violence ever in a video game. Whereas this one, it just feels kind of like, eh. Because like I think a lot of it has to do with sound design. I don't think they thought well enough about the sound in this game, and I really hate to say that because I know somebody was sitting around using Jello to make it sound like a skull is getting kicked in or whatever. But when I look back at, and I hate to make the comparison because let's just judge the game on its own accord, but I kind of have to. It's the 10th game in a series. We're getting longer in the tooth over here. When you look back at Mortal Kombat from 2011, Sonya Blade's attack, which involved kicking someone straight up into the air and then like pile drive them into the ground. And when their skull hit the ground, you could hear essentially a light bulb shattering. It was a very nice sound effect, and it was a very cool looking move. Whereas now she's just kicking people in the head a bunch of times when you watch the skull shattering. Like, yeah, there's a lot of impact going on, but it's not as smart. God, I can't remember the name of this guy. I'm so embarrassed. The guy that has the hooks and he wears the gas mask, and he has his move is the Nomad Dash.
Yeah, that guy.
Cabal.
Cabal, yeah.
His X-ray attack was literally spinning around, running super fast, and then sliding, and then kicking both of the kneecaps until they shattered.
Oh.
Yeah, but in this game, it's just basically like, I'm going to knee you in the face, or I'm going to break your rib cage. Like, yeah, there's more violence, but it's not as creative. See, the difference is, yes, this is more, this is definitely going to kill somebody, but it's not as gross. Like, if I see somebody get the ribcage literally stabbed and ripped open, I go, oh, I don't know what that feels like. What does that mean? But if I see somebody's kneecaps getting kicked in, I go, ooh, I banged my knee one time on a coffee table, and boy, oh boy, do I not want that to happen
like
to me.
that, but a little worse.
The violence is more relatable. So in this game, it's so outrageous that it kind of loses hope. Like if they did something where Scorpion took a fucking piece of cotton and started dragging along a hangnail, I think everyone would go, that's the worst fatality ever. Oh God, I can't handle it. But instead, we're just watching people get dismembered a bunch. It's boring. And that's just what it comes down to. Besides that, the controls are a little bit stiff. I've even seen people talk about, like, is this lag? Is this how the game is supposed to play? And I was rocking it with the last Mortal Kombat. They've introduced a meter that allows you to run. You can run again, like Mortal Kombat 3, but only if you have the meter. You can dash forward and backwards, but that will also cost you meter. So they've basically kind of nerfed dashing.
Okay.
And I don't know. I can't quite get into it. But
the Mortal Kombat games, and again, I didn't play 9.
Then you do not. You need to play 9. You like.
I mean, the old ones though, like the ones that I grew up on in the '90s, and I played up to like the first Xbox one when they rebooted it, and then I just stopped.
Why?
They always felt
because it was so good. You're like, they'll never top it.
Yeah, because I like Pukey Guy the most. I think he's the best. And I played a little bit of Armageddon too, because that's where they had like literally every character.
Oh shit.
But yeah, like I don't know. Mortal Kombat games have always felt so stiff to me, and I don't know. They're not as fun to just pick up and play if you don't know what you're doing. Like the thing I've always respected about the Street Fighter series is my friends are super like Street Fighter nerds. You know, they get way into it. They play online.
Super Street Fighter
nerds. Yeah. But I mean, I can pick up a controller and fuck around with a character, and kind of do some fun things and give them a run for their money. Where I never felt like I could do that in a Mortal Kombat game.
I should just, I swear to God, if Mortal Kombat 2011 it ever goes on sale, I'm gonna send you a Steam code.
You're gonna gift me
because this is a game that you really need to. That game,
okay.
Like the story mode is literally playing through Mortal Kombat 1 through 3. It covers the entire trilogy. It's told like an amazing movie. Just go on YouTube and watch all the cutscenes. It's like this really amazing story. It's shocking. Everyone has character and they have depth. Like I said, Cabal, the guy who wears the gas mask, one of my favorite characters. What? That guy,
that's crazy.
That guy was meaningless before. Stryker, incredible. Like, yeah, they have so much character. And this game, it's just kind of like, I'm evil. Well, I'll stop you. But the new characters are cool enough. I don't know. It's okay.
So good, but not great? Is that the basic assessment here?
It's okay. There's so much more to talk about, but it's, living towers where you get to play random mini games. But whatever. It doesn't matter. I think Injustice, it might be the better game out of between the last two titles. But Mortal Kombat 2011, it's seriously, if you haven't played that, go buy that. That is one of the best games of last generation. Blew my mind. Like, caught me off guard so hard. Like, I the day that came out, I just looked at the reviews and was like, what? Yeah, right. Well, I guess I'm not going to get Portal 2 because I want to see what Mortal Kombat's like. And no regrets. I like Mortal Kombat more than Portal 2.
Whoa.
Hallelujah.
Hot take.
Oh, God. It's too hot in here. You want to go outside for a second? Over to the chart park?
Hey.
This is the part of the show where we actually take a look at all the financial news that's gone over in the past week, and what a week for finances it has been. Let's find out who's making money and how they're making money and money. Sorry, drooling a little bit thinking about all that money. PlayStation 4 is the #1 best-selling piece of hardware in the U.S. in March. Is that a surprise? Absolutely not. No. Here's what you need to know about overall console sales. In March, they sold over $311.1 million worth of consoles. Might sound impressive, but last year they actually sold $393.4 million worth of consoles. According to the NPD's group's Liam Connell, he said console hardware was the primary culprit responsible for March 2015's sales decline, with 29% or $104 million decrease in spending, while portable hardware rose by 71% over last year. Of course, we can say that that's because the new Nintendo 3DS came out last month and has been selling quite well. So not really a surprise at all that PlayStation is, once again, the top dog.
That's par for the course.
Absolutely. So here's what we've got in terms of game sales. The NPD released the best-selling games of March 2015. Number 10 was Final Fantasy Type 0. Number 9 was Borderlands The Handsome Collection. 8 is NBA 2K15. 7 is Minecraft. 6 is MLB The Show. 5 is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. 4 is Mario Party 10, which is a new entry. Number 3 is Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2 is Bloodborne, which is also a new entry. And number 1 is Battlefield Hardline. What you might want to consider here is, I like Battlefield Hardline. What you might want to consider here is that having Mario Party 10 and 4th place is actually rather respectable, even though they said that sales were down. They were talking about console sales. I guess games did quite well. Mario Party 10, only available on the Wii U. That's in 4th place. That followed by, Grand Theft Auto 5, which is selling like gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 2nd place, Bloodborne, PlayStation 4 exclusive, only beaten by Hardline. These are rather respectable sales, we assume, because we don't get numbers, for Mario Party 10 and Bloodborne, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Mario Party 10 apparently did very, very well. I don't understand it. I don't.
I'm not particularly interested in it. So, but people like their Mario parties.
I guess I'm so impressed because it's inherently a party game, and rather than just one person owning the party game and everybody showing up and playing that copy, a lot of people bought the copy of the party game that has no online play.
Yeah, that's weird.
Very, very strange. So congratulations to Battlefield Hardline, Bloodborne, and, Mario Party. Good for you. Over in the UK, we saw that they basically had a very similar list, although you'll find one notable exception. See if you can spot it. Over in the UK, in the UK game charts, number 10 was Minecraft, number 9 was Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Ugh. Number 8 was Borderlands, number 7 was Forza Horizon 2, number 6 was Bloodborne, number 5 was Advanced Warfare, number 4 was Far Cry 4. Interesting.
Yeah.
Number 3 was Grand Theft Auto 5, which also was in 3rd place over there. Number 2 was FIFA 15.
Of course.
And number 1 was Battlefield Hardline. So EA is still making a lot of money with the top 2 games of the week over there. I don't know. Do you ever get into soccer games?
No, I mean, I used to play them when I was younger, but I would not play them properly.
Yeah.
I would
Just try and tackle everybody?
Yeah, like I played FIFA and International Superstar Soccer on Nintendo 64, but I would turn off all the penalties and just slide tackle the fuck out of everyone.
So you played a rugby simulator, except
More
there's
or
no
less.
stopping.
Yeah, just a lot of slide tackling, and I like to hurt people in FIFA.
Dude, why do you not have Mortal Kombat 2011? God. I haven't picked that up. Let's talk about Japan for a second. They also had a pretty phenomenal week. Now, remember, when we talk about the UK and we talk about Japan, we're talking about weekly sales, whereas the MPD only comes out once a month. If you listen to the show enough, you notice that we're always talking about the Uki game charts and the Media Crate charts because, well, they come out weekly.
Is this the part of the show where we get to hear Colin try to pronounce Japanese game names?
Number 10 is Fascination Classroom.
That sounds a little uncouth. What?
Assassination Classroom, Grand Siege on Kuro Sensei.
Ah, classic.
Number 9 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Steve's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8 is Mario Party 10. Number 7 is Sword Art Online Lost Song. Number 6 is Bloodborne. Number 5 is One Piece Pirate Warrior 3. Number 4 is Minecraft PlayStation Vita Edition. Really?
Huh.
Interesting. These
They're
are
like
physical
portables.
sales.
Yeah.
So, okay. Number 3 is Third Super Robot Wars Z Tengoku Hen on the PlayStation 3. It also took 2nd place, because I don't want to say the name again, on the PlayStation Vita. And number 1, a brand new title, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. So good for them. Also in console sales, the number 1, of course, was PlayStation 4 with over nearly 18,000 units, and number 2 was Vita with also nearly 18,000 units. Followed by 3DS, Wii U, new 3DS, PlayStation 3, 3DS LL, 3DS Vita, and with 238 units sold this week, the Xbox One.
Oh, I want to meet those. I guarantee that the 238 people that bought them are just like expats living in Japan too. I doubt they're native Japanese people.
Well, I was never clear if they count military base sales, because I know that the Xbox One did quite well at military bases over in Japan, but I don't know if they count that. They actually do have their own separate game stores, GameStops and whatever. My God, being in the military in Japan must be great. Like, don't you do nothing that you ain't done in 80 years. So, all right, we won't. We're very polite people. It's just finger wagging back and forth. Bath and forth?
Bath and forth.
Well, because over in Japan, bats are quite popular, as is Nintendo. And Nintendo's hardware has gone up year over year in the United States. According to Nintendo, the new Nintendo 3DS XL system continues to inject growth into the Nintendo's handheld business, and the momentum created for Wii U in 2014 has carried over into 2015. Take these two elements, add in fun, exclusive titles, some of the biggest names in gaming, and overall sales of Nintendo hardware systems so far in 2015 have increased by nearly 60% over sales during the same time frame in 2011 or 2014. 2011. I'm thinking Mortal Kombat too much. Rather impressive. I guess Wii U is doing a lot better, as is the
Doing well.
Well, they've lumped them in together, though, so when they say 60%, I think it's safe to say, if they're talking about a 70% increase in handhelds for the month of March, I think it's safe to say that this is mostly due to the new Nintendo 3DS.
That certainly is the bulk of it. But
honestly, if I don't understand. I saw somebody playing are they playing a 3DS XL? It's like, why are you playing that old garbage? Come into the future, Grandpa.
The worst, Colin.
The worst. I'm sorry. It's, I really do think that the new 3DS is like the best system they've made since the Game Boy SP. Like, it really is fantastic. I just like having those cartridges on the bottom, so my long fingers don't have to worry about infecting it.
Hopefully they'll keep pushing out games that actually utilize the new features.
No.
And hey, and Wii U too. There's some stuff coming out. Splatoon's coming out
soon. Is the Wii U 2 confirmed?
Oh no.
Oh God, pull the siren. Woo!
Yoshi's Woolly World's got to be coming out soon too. Is that a summer release?
I think so. What date is? Do you know that comes out in summer, huh?
Yeah, I think that comes out in summer. And then Splatoon's like next month. It's in a couple of weeks.
Do they sell guns in summer? Or like maybe nooses? I'm just curious. It's unrelated. I just want to know. You let me know.
I'll let you know.
I love Yoshi, so that'll be great. I mean, every Yoshi game is just great. It's not like just fucking baby horse shit that they've been shoveling down our throats for 20 years.
I forgot that you're a Yoshi hater.
No, I don't hate the character Yoshi. I mean, there's no character, let's face it. But
are you at least gonna play Splatoon with me online?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Good. We'll be Splatoon bros.
Are we friends on Nintendo Network? We gotta do that.
No, why are we?
I don't know. I feel like. Well, we're friends on Steam.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm optimism vaccine on Wii U, so that's easy. Add it.
Adam, everybody.
Be my friend. Be my friend on the Nintendos.
What do you say we talk about how Nintendo did in March because they decided, hey, let's just release numbers.
Okay.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Here's what we've got. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D sold 184,000 units in March. That adds up to the total lifetime sales of 730,000 units. Mario Kart 8 has officially hit 1.9 million units.
Wow, that's good.
I know. It sounded like I took an edit because I almost burped into the microphone. I was like, oh, what's sloppy editing? But I really just like, 1 million. Mario Party 10 sold 290,000 units. I guess that's a little bit more. Makes a little more sense. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS sold 110,000 units. Lifetime sales are now 2.4 million units, whereas Super Smash Bros. For Wii U has 1.6 million units. So what we can learn from this is that Super Smash Bros. Altogether has sold over 4 million units, but it is interesting to see that the 3DS is at 2.4 and the Wii U is at 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
I expect it to be the other way around.
You would think, except the thing you have to consider is install base too. Like the number of people that already have the hardware to play Smash Brothers on the go.
That's true.
It's a lot different.
But I mean, really, all the new 3DS only has a year head start in terms of hardware sales. So that's kind of embarrassing when.
Yeah, but the other thing is too. I'm going on my Nintendo apologist rant. In Japan, it's all about handhelds. Like consoles don't matter as much over there, so that's a big part of it.
I told you I've been watching a lot of '90s commercials, and I was watching some Sega Genesis stuff. When you said it's all about the handhelds. Someone's just like, it's like some kid wearing sunglasses, like a Rastafarian hat, like a baggy shirt, baggy pants, and an overshirt that's really baggy, and him just going, it's all about the games.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't. And hey, kids, if you like old Nintendo ads and racism, I recommend.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, the '90s ads for Game Boy Color, which are shining beacons of cultural insensitivity.
Are they the ones from the UK or something?
No, I think they ran like Nintendo Power and major magazines, but like it was during Nintendo's like little edgier period.
Right.
But they're pretty bad.
No, they did the same thing with the Vita, where they had a white woman holding a black Vita and a black woman holding a white Vita. I remember, and it's like embrace color or something, and it's like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No.
Not like that, guys.
Let's get into some sales for some games right here, because we do need to discuss that Metro Redux actually sold officially 1.5 million copies. Who cares? Well, apparently Deep Silver does. Here's what they actually had to say. When measured against the sales of the previous generation release, Metro Redux is the best performing remaster of this generation. That's important to note because they said 1.5 million, which means they would be privy to the numbers of other remasters, which doesn't sound...
I don't think they are.
Well, I don't think they are either, because the PlayStation 4 literally bundles in a copy of...
Last of Us Remastered.
Oh, wait, that's a digital copy.
Oh, they're
So
talking
maybe.
about physical only? Or I don't know.
I don't know.
See, there's no way they'd be privy to all that information.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever, Deep Silver.
Yeah, go back to hell. I don't know what that means, but I wanted to sound really
Wait, does Ride to Hell Retribution 2 confirmed?
That is official. Ring the bell. Okay, let's get out of the chart park. So much money. Such a beautiful place.
The Shark Park, yeah, it's great.
Chart park. We're going to, basically right now, I mean, I'll level with you, listener. I'm trying to create more and more segments because the pressure points have become bloated over the past few weeks, in my opinion. I just want to, well, it's my opinion. It's my show, so I'm going to do whatever I want here. I'm trying to make more segments, so look forward to, as soon as I come up with some classy names for a segment that's all about mobile, we're going to be doing that. And so the pressure points are going to slowly diminish, slowly but surely. But I still like them, so I want to keep them around, just not as big as they are. And you know why I'm talking for this much, Steve? You know why?
Why?
Because I just didn't want any music to be playing because there's music during the chart park, and now we're going right into the pressure points. I want a little breather between the music, so it feels like
that makes sense.
this and that. Yeah,
Good.
Well,
Segue King. You're like Paul Blart, man. You're great with segues.
let's just have some filler for a second. Favorite donut? Go for it.
Donut?
Yeah.
Ooh, the Crueler.
The Crueler?
Yeah.
Is that not a wrestler or a wrestling move? The Crueler?
The Crueler. Like a good Crueler. Maple Bar, also good.
Really?
Long John, underrated.
Oh, definitely. What were you talking, like a vanilla or chocolate Long John here?
I like the chocolate frosting on top, and I like a custard center. Not the
Not the cream?
pastry cream. Do not like the cream.
I will take the cream over the custard.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, it's good. I'm glad we could share a box of donuts then.
There we go. Yeah, you can have that one. Have you ever seen that Oreo donut? They have an Oreo donut that was at Dunkin' Donuts. Dunky? That's the Australian division. Welcome to Dunkin' Donuts, eh? So they had a donut that had white frosting on, and they took little Oreo bits and they put it on top of the.
That sounds pretty legit.
Yeah, I just had a Reese's peanut butter cup Oreo. Yeah.
Oh, those are really good.
Are they good?
Those are the motherfucking gospel.
I will take the peanut butter ones over those. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I love the peanut butter ones. I can't really taste the chocolate in this. Do you think we padded this out enough?
I think so.
All
Good
right.
snack discussion.
Let's get into the
And that was Snack Attack with Colin and Steve.
Snack Attack. Snack Attack.
Snack Attack.
You're listening to Snack Attack. All right. Okay, moving on. Let's open it up with the person that... No, wait, we should probably mention what we're doing. We're going into the pressure points. The creator and franchise director, Matthew Armstrong of Borderlands, that could have been a better way of phrasing that sentence, has officially left Gearbox. Here's what he said. Things changed. No longer working at Gearbox Software, I will always love Gearbox, but it's adventure time.
Come on, grab your friends.
I guess. I'm an inventor. I'm ready to make something new. Not just new to me, but new to everyone. I will give Mr. Armstrong credit. Borderlands, I think, has the most potential out of any series, and it's never met any of it. You know, when I played the first one, I went, oh yeah, I see where this could go. And the sequel was like, we can talk more. No, I want the gameplay to be better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish him the best of luck. You know, that's definitely exciting. Are you a big Borderlands guy?
No, I mean, I played through the first one and the second one, but I wasn't necessarily in love with either game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, it's Diablo with guns.
I was more forgiving of the first game just because I felt like this is the step towards something really exciting. And then the sequel is just a bigger environment. And it's like, no, you're supposed to make it more like a first-person shooter.
It touches a lot of buttons that create sort of addictive gameplay moments, which is, the loot and the guns and the customization and things like that. But overall, it never really did a lot for me. I don't hate the series.
If you had to get my D&D stat card, I would be immune from addictive gameplay. Like, you actually need to do something, or I'm not fucking playing your game.
Fair enough.
I like when people are just like, oh wow, Destiny's so addictive. It's like, no, it's numbers. Metrics are not gameplay. Metrics are not gameplay. Moving on, let's talk about some more metrics. 2K Australia is going down to 0 because they're getting shut down. That's not something to joke about.
What did they make?
They made Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Oh, and now they're just getting shit canned? Why?
Yeah, it's... who can really say? We've got an official statement from 2K saying, we can confirm that we have taken steps to begin studio closure process for 2K Australia in order to better manage ongoing development costs while improving the working proximity of our creative teams. We are grateful for the team's valuable contributions to numerous 2K projects and are working with affected staff to explore reassignment opportunities where possible. Honestly, I thought they did a fantastic job with Borderlands the pre-sequel, so I'm kind of bummed out by it. It's a little shitty to do this right after they.
It's a very successful game too.
Yeah, well, it's basically the biggest bullet point on the Handsome collection, where they're like, "Hey, we got Borderlands pre-sequel. Here's the one you didn't play." So a lot of people are playing through it for the first time, and the people that I've talked to about it actually were very surprised at how well it was. I think it's the most inventive version of Borderlands yet, especially with the space combat. So very unfortunate. Then again, you guys get to have summer for like 9 months out of the year, so you know. Then again, you have giant spiders.
Yeah, spiders
And wildebeest. I don't. Okay.
Kangaroos, evil kangaroos.
By the way, Grand Theft Auto 5 is officially the most played non-Valve game on Steam. With over 300,000 players, it officially has knocked off Skyrim. Yeah, that was in 2011, so Jesus, it took about 4 years to get that ball rolling. Very impressive. Let's go over to some Sony news. The Journey collection is coming to PlayStation 4. Yes, another HD update of Flow, Flower, and Journey will be on the PlayStation 4 with double the frame rate at 60 frames a second, and of course 1080p. Journey and Flower, of course, were some of the rare games of last generation that actually were 1080p to begin with. I plan on picking it up as soon as it's released.
It's not gonna be markedly different, really. I mean, they're not changing too much. It's just a port.
I seriously wish you did you get a chance to play Flower or Journey?
Yeah, I've played all those games. Yeah, they're really good.
I adore them.
Journey's fantastic.
Flower is incredible. Like Flower's
a lot of fun.
Flower is really, it has a message behind it, and it's not trying to beat you over the head with it.
Yeah,
it's
Flower's cool because it was one of the first games where I could show it to people who weren't really into video games, and they're like, oh, you know, they're all like shooting or Mario. It's like, no, look what video games can do. And they're like, oh, cool.
I really like Flow as an experiment. I don't know how good of a game it is, but it did give me literally a epiphany, which was very, very nice. So like, all of these games have like deeply hit me. You know, and I'm not spiritual even in the slightest, but there is that kind of like more naturalistic look into all these games about what life and death means and where does life come from, and you know.
I guess it seems like if you don't already own the PS3 collection or these games individually as digital titles, then maybe you should buy it on the PS4, but it doesn't seem like an upgrade is a necessary thing.
I'm definitely going to be picking it up, but even though the games all suck because you can't shoot nobody. But you can shoot lots of people in Super Time Force Ultra on the PlayStation 4, which of course will have the playable character of Shuhei Yoshida, who tweets from his phone and kills people, which is awesome. But they've also announced that you'll be able to play as the main character of Journey. There's no name for that character with the robes and all
Journey
that.
guy.
I know, the game that didn't have any combat. Well, now it's going to be killing a lot of people. But also as Sir Galahad from the Order 1886, who I really like that character. You can use his pistol and arc gun, which is like an electric gun. Not to be confused with the Thunder Gun, that amazing indie title. Oh my god, Ted, send me a code. Send me a code. I really want to play. I literally went home and played more of like a beta version of Thunder Gun after I got home from the show.
Wow.
Really like that game. I don't know why. I cannot put my finger on why that game is good. There's a je ne sais quoi where it's like, well, this is stupid. This is simple. Why can't I stop playing you? See? You have to.
Can't quit you.
See, I'm telling you, I'm not into addictive games. You have to have something behind it. There's got to be something more. You know, it's kind of like, this tastes funny. I might be getting food poisoning. Let me try that again. But Thunder Gun is much better than that, of course.
Better than food poisoning.
Put that in the box. PlayStation Vita has gotten a 30% memory boost with its latest update, Update 3.50.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that, it'll allow up to more memory size usage with games, which is very good. This is the same update that allowed 60 frames per second streaming, which, whoo, gorgeous. It's freaky. Like, you never see 60 frames a second on a handheld, and when you do, it'll blow your mind.
Huh.
Even Angry Birds, I don't think, runs at 60. Angry Birds is like the epitome of all great mobile games.
All these things keep making me want to get a Vita.
Vita's really good, dude. And honestly, if I were you, here's what I would do. I would go and get $50 and buy a PlayStation, Plus account, and just every week download all the Vita games. So when you get a Vita, you have a big collection.
That's not a bad idea.
You know, and I always tell this to people. They go, "Oh, if I don't jump, but I've already missed all these PlayStation Plus games." It's like, who cares? Spend the money and buy the games because you'll want to. The more you play Vita, the more you're like, wow, I do want to buy all these games. They're excellent ports, you know. Star Ocean. Do you remember Star Ocean at all? It's coming back.
It is.
Yep, Square Enix has officially revealed that their secret game is Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. Thanks, Japan, for that one. This is going to take place between Star Ocean 2 and Star Ocean 3, and will have Fidel Camus as its protagonist. Star Ocean 5, of course, is the latest entry in the long-running series, which hasn't seen the light of day since 2009.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
Been a while.
It's been. Go. Sorry, Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah,
They
we're
always
going
do
Comedy
that.
Bang Bang here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Star Ocean, even when I was into JRPGs for a brief period, in my early high school days.
How is it possible to ever be in JRPGs for a brief period? Because every game takes 40 hours long.
Yeah,
Do you
I know,
play one
right?
game and went, no, you know?
Yeah, it's like the period between like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX. I played a shit ton of
There were a lot out.
JRPGs.
You played some Legend of
Yeah.
Dragoon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't like that.
Played some
very
Xenoblade.
much. Yeah. Jeez, yeah, Star Ocean sort of, it never really appealed to me that much. Like, it seemed like every single series had its own little gimmick or its own little twist, and I cannot for the life of me remember what Star Ocean's gimmick or twist was.
It's in space. No.
Space.
I'll take all the games, please.
Sign me up.
Well, also coming to Sony is that new gosh darn Godzilla game. We finally got a look at it. This, of course, was announced at the VGX or whatever the hell they called it. I don't know. Whatever the video game awards. What the hell was
where
it?
You win a video game award.
You win a
For being good
videogameaward.com.
video game.
Whatever it was called. We finally got a good look at it, and I will say this much. I hated that damn movie from last summer. I thought that was absolute garbage.
I know.
And I was very happy to see that this game is actually taking it back to the real Godzilla's roots, and it basically looks like a bunch of dumb guys in suits punching each other. It looks like Destroy All Monsters on the GameCube. In fact, the graphics don't look that much better. And apparently it's going to be coming this summer on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. I'm kind of excited, just because it looks like you can play as Jet Jaguar, or whatever his name is, the guy that's in the suit. They had some Rodan in there, King Ghidorah. I don't think I would remember half these names if it was not for like hip hop artists.
Mothra, yeah.
You know, like
It's my favorite rapper, Mothra.
yeah, King Ghidorah is just MF Doom. That's
Yeah.
just like his side project. Because we'll get more into hip hop later when we get to the hip hop section of the Pressure Cast. So, WikiLeaks earlier this week decided to leak a substantial amount of Sony emails, over 30,000 documents.
Yeah, I can finally send dick pics to George Clooney.
It's about time. That's gotta. I feel so bad for these guys. What the hell is WikiLeaks do? I'm so I was totally for WikiLeaks taking down governments, but taking down like Sony pictures.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do that, I mean, you don't necessarily have to publish individual email addresses. I guess their thing is we have the information, we give you everything, regardless of if that matters or not.
I do believe in the hypothetical world where free information is like possible and actually can create almost an altruistic society overall, because everyone will have to just be honest. I believe that it potentially could work. However, quit fucking around, Julia Assange. Oh God, why is my computer? Oh no.
Been hacked by Julian Assange.
My pornography. Well, here's what we found out. They were actually talking about an Uncharted movie. Yeah, we all expected an Uncharted movie to show up sooner or later, but here's what we've got. Real quick, a Sony spokesperson said, don't do that. Please stop. But here's what we know about the Uncharted movie. There's an email that was sent out by Jonathan Caden. He is the Senior Vice President of Columbia Pictures. Here's what he had to say about Uncharted. I can't hype this up enough. It's so funny. National Treasure is certainly a fun movie with an engaging historical mystery, and Uncharted can deliver on those elements. But the action sequences are softer, mostly wide shots and very little physical mono-aim, mono-fights, gunfire, or up-close intensity. They aren't inspired, and they don't feel real. In fact, he actually went as far as to say he didn't like a lot of National Treasure due to the dialogue-heavy scenes that didn't have enough action.
There's a lot of reasons not to like National Treasure. I don't know if that's the...
How about part 2, where they just are like, let's make sure we have everyone demographic here, except for anyone that's not white. Like, we'll put the old people together and the young people together and then the middle-aged people together. Like, that movie was just, oh, fucking hell. I like the first one, though. I saw that one on an awkward date.
Oh.
Yeah, where we went to Taco Bell beforehand. I don't know why I thought that was good.
Ooh,
yeah,
look at you, Romeo.
Well, I didn't think it was a date, but I guess she thought it was a date. I didn't know.
think it was a date?
I didn't know it was a date. I was just like, all right, fine, let's go see National. And then this girl just had like bad gas the entire time during the movie. It's a true story.
Oh my God.
She was like, I'm sorry.
Just ripping Oh my god.
I feel bad.
Grilled stuffed burrito farts.
Well, I felt bad for her, you know?
Grilled stuffed flatulence.
Yeah, she can't help it. She didn't know.
Oh,
I was
that
just like,
enchilito was too much.
yo, I thought we were just hanging out. If I'm hanging out with a girl, I don't normally just assume, oh, we gonna fuck. Like, I don't think like that. I'm like, all right, cool, we'll hang out. Like, I'm cool like that, man. I'm cool like that. You know, what can I say? I'm chill, man.
So, wouldn't a better way to approach an Uncharted movie is you just say
beautifully
it's
segueing away from the farting
about
story.
the farting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, don't you just say it's Indiana Jones, but not? It's like...
I don't think they wanted too on the nose. I just think they want to avoid it, you know. They, I will say this month, Seth Gordon had an email that said, in all caps, I love this project. Apparently, they were thinking about approaching Mark Wahlberg for a $15 million deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, and David O. Russell was set to direct it, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He's
there
kind of a
was
dick.
rumors. Here's my thing, Mark Wahlberg, like, get him away from big budget movies. He's no good in them.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, he's like the best
Abs
movies
for days.
best movies ever been in. I'm talking about for his performance. Sure as hell is not anything over the past decade. It's I Heart Huckabees.
Yeah, which is also directed by David O. Russell.
Is that right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I guess maybe David O. Russell can pull the goodness out of Marky Mark.
See, he's a fireman who refuses to drive. It is so stupid. It's amazing. He just jumps off the bike and he goes, "Hey guys, where you at? Stuck in traffic? I'm at the fire. Ha ha ha!" And runs in. So good. Well, here is something a little bit different for us. The National Resources Defense Council is celebrating Microsoft's recent decision to include an energy-saving option on the Xbox One. However, it is just an option. This resulted in Noah Horowitz. He actually had a response to them saying that it was great news, but he wanted them to encourage more people to use the energy-saving options. What he said is, that would mean a lot less climate change pollution being emitted from generating the extra electricity wasted to power these devices when they're not being used. He's talking about the instant on function.
Yeah.
So, you know, but with today's technology, there's no reason for a device to be drawing 12.5 watts 24/7. Whoa! Yeah. Just so it can be ready to receive an instant update. If your cell phone or tablet operated this way, the battery would run out of power almost immediately. These devices receive notifications that updates are available for downloading, often in the background while the devices are in use. He also pointed out they really don't update that often. It's once a month, so it's a bit ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a power strip that I use in my living room, and I have another one for my PC.
Right.
And there's a master input, and so if that master input isn't turned on, then there's no power generated to any of the other ports.
Right.
So I plug my television in the master one, and all my game consoles in the other one, so they're not constantly on drawing power. Saves you money every month.
I probably should do that. I'm a monster. But I only have like 8 consoles plugged in right now. I just have, to be fair, all I have is my PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 3, my Xbox 360, my Xbox One, my Wii U, my PC, can't really count that as a console. I always have my Vita charger plugged in. I don't know if it's actually emitting any power, though, as well as my iPad, my...
Why don't we just build a coal-burning factory in your living room?
PlayStation Portable 3DS. Oh, we're up to 10. What else am I forgetting? Well, obviously, like, TV, monitor. This is all just in, like, one outlet, too. It's really...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you gotta get some better power strips.
I don't care. If I die, I die. I don't know why I said that. By the way, the head of Xbox... Phil Spencer sent out a tweet recently regarding Bloodborne, the PlayStation exclusive. What a jackass. What is he going to say? What is he going to say? Bloodborne sucks? Screw him. Here's what he had to say. I know some will question me, but wanted to say it's cool to see Bloodborne sell 1 million. New IP is hard. Congrats.
Oh, look at him.
Well, now I feel like an asshole. Seriously, Phil Spencer is just a cool guy.
Hashtag, why didn't you buy Sunset Overdrive?
I bought it, and I'll say this much. The game is like a solid 8.2, 8.3, you know? But I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm doing the 20-point scale.
The 20, that's probably a little bit better.
Whatever. It would have gotten an 8 if it was a 20-point scale. So, just saying. Modders have officially turned the 3DS into a PC remote desktop. Yes, you heard that right. Of course, it has tremendously low frame rates, but they are still early on in development. I would go nuts to do that. I would love to see, like, especially if I can see it in 3D so my mouse is hovering over, like, the two-dimensional plane. Whoa. I don't know. Apparently, you can play games on it, too. They were playing World of Warcraft,
Huh, that's cool.
which is kind of crazy. Speaking of 3D, Sega has revealed that there's going to be new 3D versions of classic games coming to the 3DS.
Oh boy.
Get ready, bro. Get ready. Fantasy Zone 2 is going to be in 3D, which I believe the very first Fantasy Zone was an arcade exclusive.
Oh.
Yes. Also, Thunderblade will be coming in 3D. Streets of Rage 2 will be in 3D.
That'll be cool. I'll buy that.
Oh, I got the best one right here, baby. Gunstar freaking Heroes is going to be in 3D!
I'll definitely buy that.
That
for
is
sure.
the best Sega Genesis game. And maybe the best game. Honestly, I know people get pissed, but like, hey, yeah, we all love Zelda and Mario and Super Metroid, but Gunstar Heroes...
It's top tier for me. It's a top 3 game for me.
There's a robot that turns into a gun and then turns into a running robot. It's just a handgun that's aimed. Fuck!
Pretty cool.
You're on a train and you're picking Fuck! And then you're rolling dice? You're playing a board game? God! And the whole time you just use guns.
Fun multiplayer too.
Oh my god. Especially if you can throw your friend. Hiya! Hiya! Oh my god. That game is...
That was a spot-on impersonation of the noises that they make.
If I've heard sounds enough, I can just replicate them. I'm like those fucking birds that impersonate chainsaws in like South Africa. It's really depressing. By the way, stop destroying nature. Speaking of destruction, Bandai Namco and Capcom love destroying their IPs by connecting them to Sega franchises with the Project X Zone series. Well, there is going to be a brand new Project X Zone 2 that will be coming out next year. That's right.
People like that first game. I didn't play it. I was interested in it, but I didn't end up getting it.
Apparently, it only sold 400,000 units worldwide.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yes. Well, here's what the VP and IP strategy of marketing, Herb Hordet from Bandai Namco, here's what he had to say. Working hand in hand with renowned publishers such as Sega and Capcom is a blessing, such as those are only 2. Exchanging ideas and working towards making fans happy is the ultimate goal behind the crossword. We're trying to make happy fans. That's what we want.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if you're a big fan of that series, I don't know. I read a lot of comments of people that today bought that game and didn't care for it. So,
did you play the first one at all?
No, and I even had the opportunity to buy it for $5 and went, eh.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I just heard so many bad things. But if you want a different re-release from Capcom, Ultra Street Fighter 4 will be digital only on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Oh well, we don't know when Xbox One version is coming out, but at least on PlayStation 4 for $25, you can pick that up on May 26th. I fucking love Street Fighter 4. I love the theme song. It's so bad. So bad, but it's so good. Oh my god. Did you ever play Double Dragon Neon, by the way?
Yeah, I played it.
God, that soundtrack.
It's very good, very good. Another Way Forward game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kings of retro remakes.
Did you know that the guy who did the soundtrack for that is also the guy who did the soundtrack for Shovel Knight?
No, I didn't know that. That's
it all makes sense now, doesn't
it does make sense. It makes a lot
Holy
of sense.
fuck. By the way, Capcom is going to be releasing a number of Mega Man games for the Wii U, but guess which ones are going to be coming on May 7th. Guess which ones?
I don't know. Do
Well,
tell.
why don't you decide? That's right, they're going to let you, the fans, vote on which games should come out on May 7th, and the rest will be released chronologically until the end of May, 1 per Thursday. They're going to release 4 on May 7th.
What are my options?
Mega Man and Bass. Yes, no?
I don't care. It's not that good.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
It's like an arcade game, right?
No, it was basically the unreleased Mega Man for like
decades.
decades.
That one. Okay, I'm thinking there's like an arcade Mega Man game where it's like a boss rush thing.
Mega Man Battle.
Maybe? I don't.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because somebody during Games Done Quick, somebody played Mega Man and Bass.
Yeah.
It's not Bass either, you assholes.
It's not that good of a game. I think it's just, if it was released in America, we all would have forgotten about it. But because it was Japanese, it never came out here. We're like, oh my god.
Okay. So maybe just because it's not released anywhere else.
That's a Super Nintendo game, by the way. Okay,
Okay.
Mega Man Battle Network 3.
Don't care.
Really? You never liked those?
I never played them.
Part 1, well, you can play as blue or white.
Oh.
I honestly, or how about Mega Man Battle Network 4, Red Sun or Blue Moon?
I never played the Battle Network games.
What about Mega Man 02?
I never played that one either.
Okay, for
It's
real.
another one where people play through it on Games Done Quick, and I'm just like, oh, there's a Mega Man game I've never fucking heard of.
All right, now, I don't know where you're going to get a copy of Mega Man Battle Network Part 1 on the Game Boy Advance. I don't know where you would get that. I don't know if there's like any way you can play it online, or if you can download it, or if it's available on some sort of other service that's not exactly sanctioned by Nintendo or Capcom. But I encourage you, sir, to play the original Mega Man Battle Network. It's an incredibly cool game. It was also designed by Kenji Inafune, and it shows. He is one of the greatest game designers in history, one of the most brilliant minds. He totally understands the act of play. Like, he is a universal genius in my book. Can't get enough of that guy. But I mean, if you download it online, you can get for free if you go to those services. But
use your Googles.
The internet just got a little less free because EA is officially closing 2/3 of their free-to-play games. That's right.
Thank God.
Battlefield Heroes. Did you ever play that?
No.
That's going away. How about Need for Speed World?
No.
FIFA World?
No.
They will only be around for another 90 days, so get on it.
No, boo-hoo. Shitty mobile games going away.
These were free to play on the computer. I guess Battlefield Heroes was good.
Okay.
But here's what Patrick Sunderland had to say. In more than 5 years since most of these titles launch, how we play games has changed drastically. There were pioneering experiences, and we're humbled by that. Over the years, so many of you joined us to enjoy the games and the community.
Well, there's one sad part about this. I don't give a fuck about any of these like mobile or free-to-play games because they're not my thing.
Free to start.
But from an academic perspective, once these are gone in 90 days, unless someone archives them somewhere, which, hey, internet, get on that, there's going to be like no official record of what they were. Like, I won't be able to play them at all.
Well,
even if people do archive them, I'm guessing a lot of these are multiplayer games, and
right.
you won't be able to do anything with them.
All I'm going to say is don't worry about that because, trust me, in about 40 years, there's going to be time travel. Trust me. Also, don't go anywhere near Seattle in 2022. Just saying. By the way, we were talking about Wave Forward, right?
Yeah.
Well, they've announced an exclusive Apple Watch game.
Exclusive Apple Watch game? Tell me
Watch Quest.
That's great.
April 24th. Moving on.
You tell time, guys.
Yeah.
It's a remake of Clockwork Knight on the Saturn.
Yeah, that's like that. It's like that American Dad joke I remember where it's just like, you don't work hard, machines work hard. Like my watch. Where's my watch? It's like, you left it in the hotel last summer. Wow, you can go a really long time without needing a watch. It's just true. F1 2015 is coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One later this year, but guess what? It's going to be 1080p on PlayStation 4 and 900p on Xbox One. Woo! Same old story. Also, Project Cars, the long-delayed racing game, will have over 110 courses and 30 locations at launch.
If it launches. When it launches.
Yeah, it's been stalling in the driveway for a few months, but guess what? It will be out on May 6th.
We'll see.
I honestly, I'm rooting for that game. I'm rooting for it. Hey, did you see the brand new Razer Black Widow Chroma Tournament Edition keyboard?
Hibbity what?
Yeah, Black Widow Chroma Tournament Edition keyboard has officially been revealed. It's $140. It's a smaller version, if you will, of the regular Chroma. There is no number pad on the right-hand side.
Oh. Okay.
And there's also a detachable USB cord. Yeah. You can also use a case. Moving on, Arnita Sarkeesian. Well, she's officially on the Time 100.
I saw that.
Yep.
And Will Wheaton did the write-up about her.
Yes, he did. Here's what he had to say. Sarkeesian became the target of victims' misogynist harassment that included death threats and rape threats, pornographic vandalism of her Wikipedia page, and coordinated effort to have her Kickstarter flagged as terrorism. All of this because she wanted to have a conversation about the way women are portrayed in video games. But seriously, like, I don't mind Arnita Sarkeesian, but she's always complaining. Why can't she just like games? What? What's so funny? Why can't
here's a fun fact.
Yeah.
So basically, she's on the Time 100 list because, she's been attacked repeatedly and spoken out about games and yada, yada, yada. She's one of the rare people who has gone from academia and crossed over into popular culture to kind of do, the speaking circuit and whatnot. The whole reason she's on there is because her profile has been raised because she's been attacked so many times. Now, if you look at the Time 100, there's a comment section for each individual entry. On Anita Sarkeesian's page, where there's probably about a dozen or so other people. Everyone else has 0 comments. Anita Sarkeesian had like 300 or something, and they're all just, gamer gators and people of that ilk just attacking her more. It's like, you're literally proving the point.
Yeah, but why can't she just love the games?
Just love the games.
I love reading some of the shit I read online. I mean, here's the thing. Arnita Sarkeesian, honestly, like you said, Arnita Sarkeesian would still be a culturally relevant person, but she wouldn't matter if it wasn't for the response. And even if she got the response, she wouldn't matter without her reaction, which is to keep pushing forward. And I don't want to make any comparisons to civil rights or any bullshit, because that's more of Gamergate's game to compare, these bizarre inflated things. But it's the people that stand up against adversity. If there's no adversity to be faced, they're not that important. And that's why Gamergate is so fucking stupid, because they have no adversity to be faced, but they're standing up for their rights. It's kind of like one of those people sat in the sun and drank iced tea to talk about how Obama is a terrorist. Like that. Just that they had a bunch of those during the weekend. They had no adversity. They sat around pleasantly and drank their iced tea and sweated a lot. I'm not picking a political agenda here. I hope people understand. I'm just talking about if no one's really stopping you, you're not that interesting. But Gamergate continuously attempts to make themselves Arnita Sarkeesian. They are envious of her plight because she actually has something she's facing against. Whereas Gamergate, it's just people saying, dude, shut up. And they're like, persecution! Whereas people go, I'm going to find you, I'm going to murder you, I'm going to find your family, I'm going to rape you. Like, okay, that's a little different. Me saying Gamergate's stupid does not equal I'm going to find you, rape you, and murder you. There's a big difference.
Yep.
Okay.
Gamergate.
You should really read into Gamergate, Steve. It's fascinating.
You think so?
Yeah.
Man, maybe I can do talks on him one day.
Let's not go overboard, dude. All right. Hey, Ratchet and Clank. All right, let's start that over. Insomniac, the developer of Ratchet and Clank, the developer of Sunset Overdrive, are officially launching their very first PC game this Monday. That's right, tomorrow, today, 420, blaze it up and play Slow Down Bull on Steam. And you'll be slowing down with a bong rip. What'd you say?
Blaze it, son.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where the blunts at?
I know, where the blunts at? I just want to listen to my Quasimodo records and get high. Sunset, this is, of course, that cool-looking spy game that'll be releasing on the PC. It takes place in the 1970s. It looks really cool. Really, really cool. That will officially be launching on May 21st. And Carmageddon was supposed to be out earlier this week. Or actually, later this week. It was supposed to be out, like a week from this recording. Guess what? May 21st. Pushed back a month.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen much footage of it since they released, like, the early access beta version or whatever, and that version was horseshit diarrhea, just projectile diarrhea. So,
would you say it was a catastrophe?
It was a catastrophe. It was almost like Carmageddon was upon us.
It was Carmageddon upon us? Okay. Hey, Crypt of the Necrodancer is officially going to be launching on Steam on April 23rd.
What? It's already on Steam.
Yeah, but it's early access.
Okay.
I can't wait. I didn't want to play in the early access because all early access games are bad, and only bad people play early access.
I heard that if you want to, you can plug in a DDR pad and play with that.
That's what I heard too.
Which would be totally cool.
I'm just a big fan of rhythm games, so I really am going to be playing this game. Don't look for a first hour. I don't do PC stuff until eventually I get some sort of additional bit of hardware to capture that. I looked into it, Steve. I don't think I can do it. City Skylines has officially sold over 1 million copies.
That's good.
It's nice to see them building the franchise. Okay. Sky's the limit! Okay. Have you heard of that game, Runbow?
No, it's like Rambo, but running?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
They'll go for it. It's going to be released on the Wii U. What was that sound?
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. When they caught me in the shower, wasn't me.
Shaggy, get out of here.
Sugar! I love Shaggy.
Yeah, he's so bombastic.
He's the only person that smiles on album covers. Everyone else is trying to look all serious. He's like, I'm having a good time being Shaggy. I like Shaggy. Well, Runbow is coming to the Wii U, and I guess it might be coming to the PC soon. Here's what's going to happen in there. They have some special guests. Check this out. Shovel Knight is in Runbow. Rusty from SteamWorld Dig is in Runbow. Scram Kitty is in Runbow. And Swift Thornbrook from Sports Ball is in Runbow.
Is it just an endless runner then?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I have no idea.
There's been other games like this too. Like there's a game called Team Indie, and it's kind of like a platformer, but it's got just indie game characters in it, like the guy from Braid and Super Meat Boy and stuff like that.
Braid?
Yeah, Braid guy.
Braid
bro.
I don't want to play as that guy. Whatever. Everyone should play Braid. It's one of the. Oh fuck! I didn't. I played this other game and I've already forgot what the name of it was. God damn it!
Impressive.
It was really good. Teslagrad.
Teslagrad, yeah.
Everyone play that. That game is really excellent.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Well, not on consoles, noob.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot.
Also, if you want to talk if you want to forget about something, how about Postal 2, which launched its very first expansion in 10 fucking years.
I was going to say, that came out, like, after I graduated from high school, like, right afterwards.
It came out during Jack Thompson complaining about this game.
Oh, my God.
I know. Also in the news, PewDiePie is officially getting his own game. It's going to be called PewDiePie Legend of the Brofist. That title was voted on by fans. And it's going to involve other YouTubes like Cinnamon Toast Ken and Markiplier. It's a 2D platformer.
Fun.
I will give
Who's
credit.
making it?
I don't know. Gives a shit. Actually, it's being made by Outer Minds, a Quebec studio that I've never heard of. That's going to be making a lot of goddamn money.
Yeah.
We will see if the PewDiePie fans are hip enough to actually play games rather than just watch people play games.
Ooh, sick burn.
No, it's just true. I know a lot of people that bitch and moan at me on my first hour videos about like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, well, did you ever play this game? And they're like, no, but I can see what's going on. It's like, fuck you. That is not the same. By the way, Mortal Kombat X has been hacked by a modder who got unplayable characters to become playable. Yes. That includes Baraka and Sindel and Rain.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, Oddworld Abe's Exodus is officially being remade by Oddworld inhabitants. Laura Lanning officially announced it, said it's very early in development, and that the name of the game, just like PewDiePie's game, will be voted on by fans. I can't wait. Good for them. 2.4 million downloads on PlayStation alone for that game.
Oh, yeah.
So
really well.
So happy for them. They deserve the best. Although Lauren Lanning is a nut job. Like, he will just go on about 9/11 for hours.
Melting the steel beams, man.
Yeah, you know, free falling. If I jump out of an airplane, free falling, building 11.
If I
free
jump
falling.
out of an airplane while listening to Tom Petty.
I was just thinking about fucking Jesse the Body Ventura, where he's just like, if I jump out of an airplane. I can't do it, Jesse the Body. I need to hear his voice before I can do an impersonation, you know. But just look at the footage.
Oh.
Shenmue, the documentary, is currently in the works by director Adam Scipion.
And Colin's got an erection.
A little bit. I got a half chub. We'll see how the documentary turns out. He's a big fan of Shenmue, and he says he's working on a documentary, which I can't wait. Can't wait. By the way, there's going to be a GTA drama, and guess what? They're going to have Jack Thompson in it. But he won't be played by Jack Thompson. That would be ridiculous. According to The Hollywood Reporter, he's going to be played by Bill Paxton.
Ooh.
I know, isn't that exciting? Can't wait. Also, I think we should probably talk about, before we wrap up all the pressure points, Zoe Quinn officially spoke to a congressional briefing on cyber stalking earlier this week. Here's exactly what the congressional briefing said about their discussion. Cyber stalking and online threats are serious issues in our digital age. According to a recent survey by the Pew Research Center, nearly 1 in 5, 18%, of all internet users have experienced severe forms of online abuse, including physical threats, stalking, sustained harassment, and or sexual harassment. Young female internet users age 18 to 24 experience the most severe online violence. Zoe Quinn, I don't know if she's had anything that serious.
Oh, yeah, she just had to leave her home in August and hasn't returned since.
Oh, man, I wish I could do that. I could use a vacation. That would just be lovely. I would love to go to Vermont and, pick apples.
Well, I'm glad that she, had the opportunity to speak to Congress, and there's a congresswoman in particular from Massachusetts that I know that she's been talking to about, getting some legislation pushed through and stuff. So that's great.
She definitely has had the worst out of anybody. I'm not trying to like say, ooh, she's number one in torture or whatever it is. But while other people have had their families and like her, it was the earliest and the most ongoing. It happened before Gamergate. Mm-hmm. That's the thing people don't remember.
Depression Quest came out. She got a bunch of crap for that.
Well, yeah, and then they found out that she did like some nude pictorials, and they just were like, well, that makes her a slut because being a slut is a bad thing or something. Having sex is bad. Mm-hmm. And if you're a woman, seriously, knock it off because I want sex, and if you're not having sex with me, you're a slut, you know?
Yeah, that's basically their mindset.
Yeah.
And hey, this story actually brings us back around to where we started. So we started off and we were kind of talking about Guitar Hero and how it's a full motion video game. Zoe Quinn is actually working on a new game project right now and it's a kind of a campy FMV game. So
yeah.
Everything comes. It's the circle of life.
I know. Here's my thing, guys. If you don't like Zoe Quinn, here's a tip: don't pay attention to her.
Don't buy our games.
Yeah, don't pay attention to it. Here's my thing. I try and ignore Gamergate, but they fucking interfere with everything. Like, you might say, well, I try and ignore feminism, but it interferes with everything. But no, like, Gamergate is, like, literally just cussing out people that I respect. You know, fuck off.
Yeah,
Knock
let
it
me
off.
tell you a secret. So the developer of the game, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, is a butthole. He's a butthole. So you know what I did? I didn't buy the game. Ask me how I'm doing today.
Yeah, you're pretty sad.
Pretty
Torn
good,
up?
pretty good.
Torn up about the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm living life.
I mean, Zoe Quinn, all luck to her. I mean, really, Depression Quest, you know, is it a game? Yeah, because it's a game.
It's a game.
That's all that matters. And it doesn't matter if you like it or you don't. It has the right to exist, and she has the right to make all the money in the world based off of it. She could have the number one.
Actually,
selling-
she's not making money off it because it's free.
I know, but she does accept donations.
Yeah, she does accept donations,
You know,
yeah.
and she has a Patreon, and she deserves all the money in the world that she can earn.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck off. That's gonna do it for the pressure points. We're about to close out the show because damn, it's near 2 hours. But real quick, I always have a little bit of a small list right here of this week in history, and I have a really good one this week. You're gonna love this.
What you got for me?
31 years ago, Duck Hunt was launched on the Famicom.
Ooh.
That's right.
Ah, fuck. Got it. We're old.
26 years ago, River City Ransom officially launched in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago, Metal Gear Solid was released on the Game Boy Color.
Oh.
As was Mega Man Legends 2 in Japan. 10 years ago, Psychonauts finally hit consoles after a very troubled development. And 9 years ago, Mother 3 was released in Japan, as was Okami. So a rather historic week in this week in video games.
That's pretty good.
I thought so. A
Some
bunch of really
classics.
good games. Bunch of classics. Just thinking about donuts some more.
I want an Oreo donut now.
Me too. I don't know. I mean, like, I like these donuts. They're chocolate and they got cream in the middle, but the cream's like exposed, so you know where you're biting. You know?
Yeah, I don't like when you get the cream donut or just any donut with filling and you don't know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So you think you're biting into some cream and you get some lemon custard or something.
Ah,
Or the craziest one. So there's this Polish donut called a punchki. All right, it's
that's
really
racist, dude.
It's really big in Detroit. Big Polish population. So there's different varieties of cream. You can never tell.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular ones, which I don't like that much, is the Prune. The Prune filling.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine thinking you're going to bite into a delicious donut full of custard, and instead you get prunes dribbling down your chin.
And is that like a popular donut in Detroit?
Yeah, it is.
I hope Detroit
Polish
burns.
people. Wow, it has
That's-
multiple times.
I don't know.
Possibly right now.
I got about $200. I'm gonna go buy that city and ban the donut.
There you go.
That's it.
You could do that. That's the thing you could do.
That's so depressing. Good job, America. You completely abandoned your backbone for like most of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Well, on that positive note, I think let's close out the show. Steve, where can people reach you on the internet?
You can reach me on Twitter at Steve Cuff. You can go to optimismvaccine.com.
What?
Optimismvaccine.com.
What is that?
It's
Is that a website?
Yeah, it's a website. It's got cool writing about popular culture and just weird, obscure shit, guilty pleasures, all kinds of crazy stuff.
I don't want to go to your website, but I want to read your stuff. Where can I go?
You can go to expressmilwaukee.com, and Optimism Vaccine does a lot of writing for them as well. We have a weekly column.
Yeah.
You can go to YouTube and look up Optimism Vaccine. I do video reviews. I do a series called Reviewed in 60 Seconds, which is basically pretty fucking self-explanatory.
Those are good reviews. Those are. I almost wish that they were longer. I actually like your reviews. So
Thank you.
know.
Thank you. I do some long-form stuff, but it takes too much fucking time, so I don't like to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to see me live and in person, you can go to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee at the Digital Humanities Lab on Thursday the 23rd at 3 p.m. I'm going to be sitting in on a panel about Gamergate and the future of video games and what video games are and all kinds of big, crazy philosophical shit.
More
It's
like
gonna be
University
fun
of
as
the
fuck.
Bias. Bias.
The
or
bias,
your
yeah.
bias. Or,
There's be a lot of biased feminism and a lack of ethics there.
oh my God.
What else? Oh, hey, I have an idea. Email me. smcuff. Wait for it.
Never been able to get
at
anybody.
uwm.edu. I need your help. I'm working on a project. I'm working on my master's thesis right now. I'm talking about nostalgia and Nintendo. I'm particularly interested about when the fans and Nintendo get into little tussles over things. Like when all the fans are like, give us Earthbound on the Virtual Console.
Right.
And Reggie was just wagging his dick around going, no, I'm not going to do it.
That's a very fine dick, though.
Yeah,
What's
great
that email
dick.
address one more time?
smcuff at uwm.edu.
All right.
So if
Super
you got any
Mario-
ideas,
Super Mario Cuff at uwm.com.
I never thought about it like that.
There you go. Now
So
you
yeah,
know.
all kinds of shit. Optimism vaccine. Get on it. Why aren't you following us?
Yeah, your story's been blowing up at Express Milwaukee. They're very, very good. Very good articles.
Thank you.
Very interesting. So I highly recommend everybody checks it out. You can always go to videogamesardumb.com. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. I am now, oh God, only 76 more subscribers away from being able to change the name of the URL. For the love of God, people. Right now it is youtube.com/games under pressure. And I am not affiliated with that website, but I did create the URL. Or I created the YouTube. I didn't create the URL. So I don't want it anymore. Let's get that URL back to Brian. I don't want it. I want to have Video Games Are Dumb because that is my goddamn website. I have so many videos that are going to be coming up this week. Lots of exciting stuff. Vita games, as well as, Wii U games. Check out the episodes of First Hour Weekly I'm putting up. Putting them up every single Saturday now. On Tuesday, if you go to Express Milwaukee, you'll see me interviewing people, including the creator of Qbert, Ted, who created the game Thunder Gun. You're going to see me talking to people that create Extreme Exterminators. You're going to see me talking about the very first homebrew game ever and see it live in action, which was in a suitcase that had a handcuff on it. Yeah. Or was it a Steve cuff? I can't remember.
Hey.
Who can we say? Who can we say? Well, Steve, thank you so much for stopping by this week.
Thanks for letting me come.
Absolutely. Shut up. Okay. That's
Every single night, at least 3 times.
okay, because you know that, like, semen just, like, dies after only about 16 seconds. Like, millions of lives are just wiped out. Potential doctors and presidents and earth-shattering people.
Unless you've got a Dreamcast mic, and then it can stay alive for a really long time.
Yes, it can. But even then, Dreamcast will die. But the Pressure Cast is forever. PRESSURECAST, weekly video game news podcast, is solely owned and operated by Colin Tanner. Guests of the PRESSURECAST are not employees or freelancers of Colin Tanner, the PRESSURECAST, or VideoGamesAreDumb.com, and are not paid. Music featured on the PRESSURECAST is property of their respective owners, and no infringement is intended. For more information, email pressurecast@gmail.com.